Oi, it's Billy the Butcher here with the Fake Nerd Podcast, episode 154. Wow, that's the worst accent ever. I'm just going to quit this immediately. What's up, guys? I'm Ryan Leopolis.
That was like kind of Australian, but kind of not.
I switched all around the world, guys.
Yeah.
I'm joined by Sparks Whitty.
Hey, what up?
Brandon T. McClure.
Hello.
This is the Fake Nerd Podcast, in case I already did not say that. My accent threw me off real bad. Ben Magnan isn't here, unfortunately. He's actually really sick.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hope he feels better.
He had a Disney day, and then he died.
And then he Disney died.
Then he Disney
He
died.
got the Disney flu,
died.
as
That's
it
good.
happens.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens to the best of us. Every
Our
single time you
our
do
immune
it.
systems aren't good enough.
Every time you do a full day at Disneyland, it just wipes you out.
Yeah.
Like even on the best days, and then he's got a fever, so like, ooh,
Yes.
it was kind of a double.
Hundreds
knock.
of people running into you at all times. Who knows what they got?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what's up, guys?
Oh, so what's up with you guys? How was your guys' week? It feels like it's been a while since I've seen you guys.
It feels like it, but I feel like it was a week
It
ago.
was just.
It was only
literally
a week ago.
only a week. Yeah.
Yeah. I did a lot of entertainment stuff this week, actually. The more I thought about it, I did something every single day.
Yeah.
Nice.
We did our topic, which is The Boys today, which is a book club and a couple episodes of a show.
Oh, crap.
Oh, shoot.
Oh no.
Yeah. I played some more Legend of Zelda. That game's great. I won't go into it because Ben's not here to, talk about it with me.
Sure.
I played Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 a little bit. That game's a lot of fun. It's super simple, but it has really great characterization. It's basically, this isn't a spoiler, like it's like a retelling of the Infinity Saga, but if all the characters were there from the beginning. So you
cool.
start with the Guardians, and then you meet Spider-Man immediately. And it's just like, no, we're all here, and this is just what's happening. It's a lot of fun. I can't wait to play it with you, my friend Sparks.
Yeah.
Hopefully with you, Brandon, my friend.
Yeah.
What else did I do?
We saw a movie.
That's what I was thinking of. We saw a movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
We did.
What'd you guys think of that?
I liked it a lot.
Really enjoyed it.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is, if you've watched Tarantino's films, this is clearly the film he has been wanting to make for a while.
Yes.
This is a film period he has wanted to be in for a long
You
time.
can see his love on every frame of this movie.
Yeah.
For like the era, for like he's a cinephile. Like clearly, he makes movies for people who love movies, and it's like it's so many
Sure.
deep cuts and like
Yeah,
actors
yeah.
that I don't know from the 50s and 60s that he has on tap. There's a great scene where like, I guess it's not a super spoiler for this movie, but like The Great Escape is in this movie, but it's Leonardo DiCaprio in the role instead of Steve McQueen, right?
Yeah.
And it's just so much fun to see like Kung Pao enter the fist, but with $100 million budget.
Right.
It's a lot of fun.
Steve McQueen is in the movie.
Steve McQueen
and
is
he's
in the
played
movie.
by Damian Lewis,
He's
and I
so
love that because
good.
I'm such a Damian Lewis fan. And I'm
Yeah.
like, even for just those few moments, that was incredible.
There's so many actors.
My favorite sequences in the movie are when we're just with Rick Dalton and Cliff.
Yeah.
Especially the when Rick is doing the pilot with Timothy Oliphant. I think that sequence is really
Dude,
good.
that's a 15-minute TV show in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a one cut just acting.
Yeah.
Tour de force.
I like that sequence a lot.
So do
Same.
I. That 9-year-old girl is so good.
She was.
She is
was
so
great.
funny.
Yeah. All of it was awesome.
I quite enjoyed it.
I was in the when I said last week, I'm very much aware that I am in the minority of the one. Like, it's not my favorite Tarantino. It's probably my middle.
Yeah.
I just don't think you needed the Sharon Tate, Marilyn Manson stuff. I don't think that stuff works that well in the
Did
film.
you mean Charles Manson?
Yeah, that's the one.
I was gonna say Marilyn Manson. I totally missed that.
I don't think
in
he was
this
born
movie.
yet.
That's just my feeling.
I feel you.
I will say
If
I
Cliff
think it's-
wasn't so intertwined with that, I would agree, but
Yeah.
I think it works.
I will say that I think what's really cool about it is Sharon Tate's sister said that Tarantino did a really good job of recreating her as a person rather than defining her by, because obviously the way the film goes, not defining her by her
murder.
death, which is
Yeah.
what she says like everybody talks about now. Sharon
Yeah.
Tate's not really
A
an
person
identity
anymore, yeah.
And
did you
that-
see the Hilary Duff film, The Haunting of Sharon Tate?
No, I haven't watched it.
You
I'm
guys
aware it
should
exists.
watch that
I'm
trailer.
aware
I
it
already
exists.
feel bad about hearing about this.
I'm aware it exists.
Yeah.
No. But I thought it was really cool that her sister was just like, yeah, he really captured who she was at that time and like who she was as a person, and that was very present. It was just really nice to see that represented in a movie.
Yeah.
And for that alone, I think that's really cool.
And then on the flip side,
Bruce Lee's daughter absolutely hated the portrayal of Bruce
Yeah.
Lee. But by all accounts, there's a lot of things saying that, Bruce Lee kind of was that kind of an asshole.
I really like
Yeah.
the sequence where they fight. I thought that was
yeah,
a cool
I
sequence.
honestly like. Brad Pitt stole this movie for me. Like Brad Pitt is so
100%.
what an interesting weird character. And like I just love the finale. I love the finale.
Yeah.
I think
I do too.
Yeah.
My feelings about the finale was that I don't feel it was earned.
Yeah.
But I do like the finale a lot.
I don't want to spoil for like what it is, but like the state that Brad Pitt is in and the things that happen are so bananas.
Sure.
And I'm like, Man, this is a Quentin Tarantino movie. Holy shit!
Yeah.
I'm very glad I got to see it.
Yeah, I really like that it is this, as other films Tarantino has done, it's this alternate take on history in a sense.
It shares more in common with Inglourious Bastards.
I agree,
That's my
100%.
favorite.
That's the one and this as that for that event with Sharon Tate and everything around it. I like it for that. I really do.
And
I
there's
think the more that I don't know how familiar you are, and this is an attack on you, but like we were talking about this with our friends Michael Bergman and Megan Nades. And
congratulations,
Congrats.
who recently got engaged, and they'd gone to see it, and Megan Nades had never seen a Tarantino film before.
Oh, wow.
And had no idea what this movie was about. So this was a deep dive for her. But on the flip side of it, Michael loves Tarantino films. He is not very familiar with Sharon Tate or the Manson stuff at all. But Megan Nades knew what was up. So she expected the film to be heading in a certain direction, was surprised when it went a different way. Michael had no idea what the theming of it was, what was really going on in the background of what was
Right.
up. So that's just really interesting to those different perspectives on it. But I think like the more familiar with it that you are, the kind of way that it flips around on it is cool.
I think that does help. I do have an issue with one of the issues I do have with the film is that it requires you to know the chain of events that happened leading up to Sharon Tate's.
Yeah, you
death.
kind of have to
It
have some
definitely helps.
familiarity.
It helps. Yeah.
It does. Like things. You start to see how like it very much is leading you.
You see the twists and turns
when you're
what's
heading
going
into
on.
the third act. It's setting you up for something, and you're kind of supposed to know the history to know what it's
Right.
setting up and know how it's going to change it. Yes, I agree that you kind of have to be familiar.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a fun movie still. I liked it.
Absolutely. I didn't love it. I liked it a lot. Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing if the rumors are true about the Netflix expansion. You heard that?
So fun fact.
Yeah.
Flash fact.
A little while ago, when I first started working at Photochem, which is my current place of employment, we were working on the 4-hour cut of
Hateful
Eight.
Eight. Yes. This is exactly why I brought this up.
Yeah. So the Hateful Eight exists as a 4-hour cut on Netflix because we worked on it. We scanned all the stuff that didn't make it into the film and created it.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the big project when I first started working there. A couple months later, we got Django
Django.
to do the same thing. So we did the same thing to Django. I don't know if it's out yet.
I don't think it is.
It is coming, though.
It's coming, yeah.
A 4-hour cut of Django is coming.
Sure.
So if you follow that line of thinking, then absolutely, I think the Once Upon a Time.
Can I tell you, like this film is the film I'm most interested in.
I
seeing
want this
4
to be
hours
like an
of.
actual TV
'Cause
show.
I'll watch more Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt in these roles forever.
100%.
That appeals to me far more than the Hateful Eight's 4-hour cut did, or Django's. Like this is where I'll live for a long time.
Yeah.
And we saw that Tim Roth was listed in the cast, but
And he was cut.
So I'm hoping he's in that 4-hour cut.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what that could be. I don't have any knowledge if we're doing it or not, but
Sure.
I would absolutely believe the rumors
That
this is
that's
happening.
probably happening.
Yeah.
It's still in theater, so I'm sure they just have to wait for it to.
Yeah.
This all brought up another thing for me. That Django Unchained Zorro crossover film is happening, isn't it?
It is.
But Tarantino's not doing
As far
it?
as we know, he's not.
He might just be like
directing it.
producer on it.
Yeah.
As far as we know, he's not directing it.
Boy, kind of wish he would.
But he did direct. He did write the script. That
Yeah.
script that was adapted by
For the comic?
Dynamite would be a
Okay.
Tarantino script.
All right.
Yeah. And
Sorry, talking about Django brought that
No,
back
it's-
up in
it's
my
fine.
mind.
Django's cool.
I really want Antonio Banderas back as Zorro.
Boy,
Old man
I'm
Zorro.
telling you, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because so for those of you who don't know, Django Zorro was adapted into a proposed sequel for Django Unchained that now looks to be taking traction, but it was adapted into a comic book by Dynamite.
Kind of like the Freddy versus Jason versus Ash thing that
Yeah.
happened. Yeah.
And the idea was that Django would meet an old Zorro because Zorro, at the time that Django would be around,
How do you not get Banderas for
I know,
that?
right? And so by the time Django rolls around, Zorro would actually be very old. So the idea is that he meets an old Zorro and hijinks ensue essentially.
That's my jam.
So you could absolutely get Antonio Banderas would at this moment be the proper age.
Have you been watching what he's been doing lately? The TV show?
The Genius TV show
Yeah,
where he plays
Picasso.
Picasso?
Mhm.
I haven't, no.
I haven't watched it either, but I've watched some of the clips
Yeah.
just to see his
I saw the
performance.
trailer. He looked good.
It looks like compelling television.
Yeah, this is the second season with Jeffrey Rush did
Yeah.
Einstein, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm super curious in both of those seasons.
Yeah, same. Yeah, weird
Yeah.
things.
So yeah, I hope that happens.
Anyway, yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was really good. We went and saw that.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Same. That's most of my week, and then we saw the movie today that we'll talk about later.
I have no gripes with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that aren't just like things that you get when you go to a Tarantino movie anyway. Like
you
overly abundant amount of feet shots.
Yo, man.
Or
I'll tell you what. Like all his other movies are subtle compared to this one.
Oh man,
this one it is just
it's aggressive.
It's in your face a lot, man.
The specifically the car scene when he's driving her and it cuts between her and him, but the feet are always in the front of the frame, whichever side of the car you're on. And I'm like, man, this is a lot, dude.
I don't like feet, so it's not cool for me.
Sure.
I don't like it.
I think Brad Pitt deserves an Oscar for his performance in this film.
I think Leo does too, because this is the best acting I've ever seen. In like the trailer, that really is an incredible scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like truly, like everyone in this movie is really good, man. Everyone.
Yeah. I really like both of them. I think the thing that impressed me so much is how fast I was sold on their friendship.
Yes.
Like just and that's the thing that Tarantino does really well, is that you just believe those characters are those people, and that that is their relationship. And watching him create that kind of friendship so fast was really cool.
Yeah,
I don't think he's ever executed that kind of like bond so fast so well since Pulp Fiction, to be honest, with Jackson and Travolta at the beginning.
Yeah, it's kind of like in Hateful Eight when Kurt Douglas and Sam Jackson meet, and you already get the sense that they know each other.
History. Everyone has history. Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah,
that's something he does really well. Maybe his next film will be Star Trek. So who knows?
What in the hell?
You said Kirk Douglas?
Is it Kurt Douglas? Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
I know who you meant. I can't, God, if that Star Trek thing is happening, holy shit! What is that movie gonna be?
Well, he's still holding. He's retiring at 10.
I'll tell you what, it would be bold if his final movie of this like filmmaking legend to be a Star Trek movie.
Yeah,
that'd be super weird.
Yeah, it would.
And it's for a sci-fi movie.
If you take his filmography at face value, he's already done 11 movies.
But movies that have been theatrically released, and
his first movie was theatrically released.
Was it really?
Yeah.
No, I don't even know what it is.
Exactly. I don't think he knows what it is anymore.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's old.
Definitely.
It's old.
Yeah.
Is it Ben hasn't seen a bunch of Tarantino movies, right?
I think so.
He hasn't.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know.
Honestly, I probably haven't seen
I've seen every
30%
single
of
Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the second Kill Bill or Reservoir Dogs.
Not?
I don't know.
Why not?
I really don't know.
Of all the ones not to see, that's technically one movie. He says it's one movie.
Sure.
So I even though I paid for a movie twice, I count that as one movie too. It's
I definitely watched the first Kill Bill. Never watched all the second one.
The second one is dope, man. That's where all the action is.
Yeah, I don't know why I just didn't do it.
You
And it became one of those things where I should watch that and then just kept putting it off until
I know what you mean.
now.
It happens, yeah.
Yeah.
I had this thought, we should get off this because there are other things to talk about today, but I think it's...
Welcome to the Tarantino podcast.
I can't imagine, I can't picture Tarantino making a movie that's set in modern times.
Yeah, I can't either.
I don't know what that would be.
Even
I appreciate Reservoir Dogs, Jackie Brown.
But they're not modern times anymore.
Modern now.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got an aesthetic for that time period, Reservoir Dogs or earlier. The closest to today that I think it gets is Death Proof, and that's iffy.
Death Proof is kind of could be. Whatever.
It doesn't really matter. I appreciate that he kind of recognizes that he has a tone that he wants to capture in film culture, and that film culture is not modern.
I'll tell you what, he just skips modern day. He's gonna go straight to the
Star Trek
5th century or whatever. Yeah.
The 23rd century.
That's why I'm like I don't think he can make something for today. I wonder what a Star Trek movie would look like. Yeah, because he's so captured in an older sense of cinema. And I mean yes, with Reservoir Dogs and that the 80s, 70s, 60s, all that stuff, but also even when he does things like Django or Hateful Eight, those are still modeled after the films that he loved in the older film culture to begin with, things that you still see referenced in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So Westerns. All that stuff is what he loves, not modern day film culture.
The Hateful Eight shares more in common with a 70s Western than it does a modern day Western.
Yeah.
Bunch of people in a house.
Anything else you guys want to touch on? I got a couple of things.
What else did we do this week? We did other things, right?
I mean, our topic today. I think that's it.
Oh, it's Shark Week, baby. I watched a bunch of shark stuff.
How the sharks doing?
I've still got more shark stuff
Are they
to watch.
sharking it up?
Man.
How many Megalodon specials were there?
One.
Oh, wow.
And all it was about is it was actually the first one of this week of Shark Week, and what it was is that they were trying to understand what would have made Megalodon go extinct, they think, and they actually are starting to believe that it wasn't a climate temperature thing because they died long before the Ice Age. There was no global event that made them, so the water temperature changing, that's not it. They think that they actually just got outmaneuvered by the upcoming great white sharks. That they just were better at hunting, and they took a lot of their prey away. So they just
Just like the X-Men
That's
taking
just
over the
happened.
dominatory
Yeah.
chain.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So size doesn't matter.
It's not what The Rock told me.
Yeah, they couldn't keep up with the speed of great whites, and so there's a pretty strong theory that they're exploring right now that great whites actually led to the extinction of the megalodon.
Is that going to be the
Wow.
Meg 2, where it's just great white sharks versus
No, I
megalodons?
doubt it. I doubt it. I think the Meg 2 will probably be sillier.
Steve Alton will be
They
writing his
don't
seventh
really
Meg
seem to
book
care
about
much
this.
for science fact in the film. The books they did, but not in the film.
You're right.
You read Powers of X, I'm assuming?
I did.
Oh man. Oh
Yes.
yeah. Yes.
I totally forgot to read that. I was going to read that so we could have a discussion like we did with House
It's
of
okay.
X.
I honestly didn't expect us to have like another big form conversation, and I honestly should have waited till this week so we can talk about both issues because this was as a substantial issue
It's
as
complimentary.
last week's. It is complimentary, and it's basically just super quick. It does what Hickman does best, and it sets the future for, like, honestly, the next 5 years. His Avengers #1 issue talked about Tony and Steve creating an Avengers world where every single superhero was an Avenger, and whatever mission required a specific team could make that team, much like the Justice League Unlimited, right?
Sure.
In the first issue, he said, they couldn't prepare for Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet and Hyperion, all this stuff that he wrote for the next 5 years. So Powers of X sets the next 100 years up. And because it's in year 1, year 10, and year 100. So we see stuff in year 100, and he tells us in large paragraphs of words, which is what I love about Hickman, what happens in these 100 years. And he tells us about characters, what they do, what we're going to see, and it's really fascinating. It's kind of like getting the history of the Marvel Universe from 100 years from now.
Yeah.
Is this a little bit like what... Is there anything like where Mike talked about how the X-Men are kind of seem a little arrogant in this time? Is there anything? Is that anything more like that? Are we seeing more of how Hickman is framing this?
Yes,
as
you see
a
Charles.
good or bad thing?
Charles Xavier is very much like for mutants to prosper, every single one of you needs to help out, and you need to do things.
Mm-hmm.
So like he's still very much in that arrogant style. But the sad thing, and I'm not going to get into spoilers. The sad thing about it is, it shows us the repercussions of his vision. So we know how his vision turns out, and it's not good.
I see.
So it's a really great framing device, and I love Mike and I love his opinions and his thing. Like, I don't think this is going to last. This is lasting.
Well,
this is lasting for at least 5 years.
I think what he was talking about was not necessarily that it was going to last. Was at least what I was getting from what he was saying is, I was wondering how Hickman was going to frame it ultimately. Is what Xavier is doing a good thing, or is it a bad thing?
I think it's up to the perspective. For the X-Men, it's a good thing. For humanity, it's a bad thing.
Right.
It depends on the character.
I know, but like at the end of the run, how are we going to look back on it?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes,
as we're going to say, Xavier succeeded and created a wonderful thing.
I'll tell you
or
what. It looks like he doesn't succeed. So
Okay.
you kind of get your answer in this issue, which is truly fascinating, and we get to see almost the inevitable downfall of X-Men, which is
Interesting.
really cool and also really sad.
Yeah. It's a strong read.
You read it?
Yes, I did.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I read
sorry.
Powers of X.
Okay.
I realize you and I haven't talked about it.
No.
We haven't had the chance to really. We can, but we won't do it here.
No, yeah.
Because Brandon hasn't read it. But Ryan and I have talked about that once House of X and Powers of X, all the 12 issues between the two are out, we'll just do a big special talking about both of them.
Yes.
So that'll be like a big book club thing. We'll probably put it to YouTube.
On the final thing, Powers of X gives you seeds that you can plant. You can plant your own cocoa seeds. They are blue flowers, and they plant and they grow in a week or two. So it's really cool that the X-Men are planting the seed around the world, and then humans that are buying the comic are also planting seeds around the world.
Yeah.
I think that is a really awesome thing that like kind of just like brings the community together in a weird way. And I became a gardener for the first time in my life, so like I think that's super dope. So thanks, X-Men.
Yeah, your thumb is very green now.
Super green.
Yeah.
Did you water your plants today?
I did. Thank you.
Nice.
This morning.
Sparks, did you want to touch on anything?
Powers of X was one of the things I was trying to think of.
Thank you for reminding me because I forgot.
My week was consumed in sharks.
Hoo ha ha.
So that was
You
a lot
do?
of my week. Shark Week is great, guys. There's a lot of cool information and stuff we're learning.
You do really love your sharks.
I do love sharks.
I was able to relate Shark Week into a Doctor Doom moment from the comics where hashtag Megalodons, and Mark
Nice.
Miller
Nice.
liked it, so that's cool.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, dude.
We're not going to talk about it in trailers, but the Blair Witch game had another gameplay trailer, and I think that game looks real good.
Yeah, I'm really excited. That reminds me of like Outlast
Yeah.
a lot with the camera movements and stuff. It's going to play with your perspective. You turn around, things are different. I love that stuff.
Oh, and we put up a bunch of things on YouTube
A lot of things.
because I was behind, and I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. They're all there now, baby.
Scheduling and just the processing of having to do it, but also just my schedule made it so it took a little while. But everything up to episode 153 should be up now.
Nice.
And
Current,
I'm
baby.
working on that X-Men special because I'm trying to figure out how I want to do the picture for it.
On that, our Patreon now has the first 10 episodes of our show.
Ooh.
And in full, not edited. These are the original 10 episodes that aired.
Is that when we were talking about Star Trek?
Yeah, actually, we got up to the point where we talked about the Star Trek ones. I did not do it the same way as I'm uploading the episodes to iTunes or to our feed. What I've done is I will look at the script and I kind of like give you a bit of a bit, and you can follow a character I'm writing slowly losing his mind as he uploads these. As he uploads these episodes.
I like it.
So there's a little bit of extra
fun
for you guys if you want to
get to be a little creative.
If you want to subscribe to our Patreon.
I don't. Just tell me about it off air.
So the first 10, I'm hoping to get 10 a week until we have the first 50 up. And that's kind of where I'm going to stop it.
Cool.
The times before Sparks was here.
Yeah, well, Sparks shows up in the upcoming episode. Spoilers, spoiler alert.
Spoilers for the past.
Isn't my episode like my
Days
first
of
episode was
future past?
episode 20 or something?
Probably.
Episode 25?
Probably.
I looked at it recently.
I didn't.
Yeah, I think it's like episode 25 or something.
That's cool.
It's the first time we talked about X-Men.
Oh, interesting.
Batman versus Superman.
That was the first time I came on.
Ultimate Edition.
Yeah, that was up there.
That's my first
so yeah,
episode.
you could talk. So you know, a bit of a sizzle. If you didn't know, if you haven't been following us since the beginning, you get to hear us talking about old Star Trek movies. Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice was Ryan's first episode.
I gave that a kind of positive review because I think the Ultimate Edition is a better version of that movie. But over time, I've definitely soured more on that movie.
So find out when we were young and naive. Go back to the days of old.
Wow.
I didn't have a lot of time this week. I was working a lot, so I didn't get to consume as much media as I would like. Barely got to see Fast and Furious, which we'll talk about later. But I did go to see a movie called The Farewell.
I've been wanting to see that.
Same.
Which is Awkwafina's new movie. It's excellent. Honestly, it might be one of my favorites of the year.
I've heard Oscar noms everywhere.
I hope so, because she's great in it. I think the whole movie is excellent. I really can't say enough about how great the movie is.
I have never seen a film from that studio I didn't like. Is
it A24?
Yeah.
Oh, they put
They put together such good crews and scripts and directors and actors. It's crazy.
They're like the best studio right
and
now.
the fact that so the premise is apparently in China, you have the option. You can tell your family members that they are okay if they are dying from cancer. That is just okay in that culture, and it's the ramifications of Awkwafina's family who lives in America, and they're just like, well, if this was America, it'd be illegal not to tell her, and so their grandmother is dying of cancer. The idea is like, well, the cancer doesn't kill her; it's the fear that's going to kill her. So if we don't tell her, maybe she lives longer, or it's just we would rather see her happy. So it's kind of
because like in that culture, and I haven't seen the movie, but like from what I gather from the trailer, like once people know you have cancer, you're basically dead already.
Yes.
So like you die before you actually die, which is real sad.
Yeah. So it's a lot of them. They find an excuse to go to China to all be together, and it's their family reconnecting and trying to enjoy themselves. And also Awkwafina is wrestling with the idea of like, well, shouldn't we tell her, because shouldn't she get the chance to say goodbye to us if she's never going to see us again? Really good, really moving. Not a dry eye in my theater when I went to see it.
Is a character named Nana in that movie?
Nai.
That's apparently the first time she's ever been in a movie. This is
really?
her first acting role.
She's excellent.
And people are like, this is their first time in a movie. Just give her an Oscar, because she's great.
She's excellent.
That's super cool to hear.
The whole cast is excellent. Great Chinese cast. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, if it's close, we should see it. I want to support that
we'll
movie.
have to look.
Yeah,
we tried to see Midsommar yesterday, but we couldn't make it work.
Oof.
That is a movie.
God. Oh boy.
Let's see. I check my notes real quick. See, because I definitely did read. Oh yeah, I did not go to Comic-Con this year, as we all know, and it's the first time in many years. But I got away with a Comic-Con exclusive. I got the Batman Comic-Con bag. Exclusive from Comic-Con.
Like a tote bag?
It off of. So it's a Batman pop, and it's Batman, but he's holding a Comic-Con tote bag.
Oh, got it. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
I think I saw that online. Yeah.
Yeah, I bought that. It's going for a lot now. I bought it when it was pretty cheap.
Good.
So I'm happy that even though I didn't go to Comic-Con, I have a memento from Comic-Con.
There you go.
So that's a cool pop figure. I like it a lot. All right, shall we move on?
I read Invisible Woman #1. It's Sue Storm's solo comic, and it's incredible. It's really great. It's super fun. That's all. I'd support that comic.
That's cool.
Bye.
All right.
Oh, Ryan tried some new cuisine this week.
Oh, I went to a tofu place.
He liked it.
I did.
Oh, yes.
Cool.
It's the tofu place.
BCD,
Irvine,
yeah.
Mhm.
Tofu
I like that place too.
it's really weird. Tofu is weird, you
Have
guys.
you never had tofu before?
No, I have. It's just I don't eat it enough to remember. It's like, oh, it's weird in my mouth.
I love tofu.
Yeah.
All right, shall we move on to bread and butter?
Yeah, let's do it.
Tofu and butter.
And here's your bread. And your butter.
Here's your bread and butter.
Hey, okay, not in my ear, thank you.
All right, then to get started, we do have some news coming out of the TCA, the Television Critics Association.
I was gonna make up an acronym because I didn't know what it was. Thank you for telling me.
Teen Choice Awards.
That's a good one.
That's a good one, yeah. We could have actually gone. We are able to get press patches for this.
Listen, we need
We
to
could go to the Teen Choice Awards?
No, the Television Critics Association.
I want to press badges
oh.
to everything possible if I can. I love for going to places for free. It's great. I don't care what it is. I want to go for free. Let's do it.
We'll
next
try
year.
and get into the adult
The
movie
2020s.
awards.
I'll be the representative. I'll be your correspondent. Don't test me.
I know a person in that business.
Hey.
Ooh.
I'm not even lying. You don't know them.
Oh.
But you're familiar with the work.
I keep finding out some very strange things about our friend Shell.
That's not her, but
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
okay.
Anyway,
Audience.
Twitter's a excellent resource
I
to
love Twitter.
find out who your friends really are.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing. This
Yes.
sounded horrible, but it's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
All right, so the Arrowverse is coming to
We're starting here, baby.
yeah, we are. The Arrowverse is doing some things next year. I don't know if you guys heard, but they're adapting Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard of it.
Actually, Ryan, you
Oh?
said this was kind of like their phase one. I actually think this is closer in scale and scope to Infinity War and Endgame.
Well, sorry. I'm sorry. That's what I meant. If I meant phase one, like the Infinity Saga.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think-
not just like
I
not
think
the
this
Avengers.
is their version of the Infinity
No,
Saga.
their
coming
first
to an end.
crossover is their Avengers.
Yeah.
I meant implied like it's just like Endgame because Arrow's ending and all that stuff.
Yeah. And I think this sounds pretty great. So Black Lightning will finally
Hell
join
yeah.
the fray.
Inevitable.
Yeah.
Inevitable.
So Black Lightning. So this was kind of funny. So last night, he posted on Instagram. He posted on Instagram. You asked for it, you got it. And CW said nothing. No confirmation came from CW, which made sense because I found out that their TCA panel was today. As we're recording this today, it was already ended, and that's where they officially confirmed that yes, Black Lightning is coming to the crossover.
I hope that they bring at least one of his daughters with him.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if the whole family's there. For real.
I mean,
'Cause
yeah,
they're all
that'd be great. But I mean, like, I know this is going to be stuffed, so I can understand if it's just, like the first time they brought Supergirl over, it was just her.
That's true.
I understand not bringing their whole cast, but his daughters.
But
are
again, though, this
superpowered
is
too.
the end game scenario. Like, what other chance to have everyone here? Especially with
Once
who's coming.
once you cross over Black Lightning, especially because Black Lightning is its own show, unlike the others where we're getting these great cameo appearances, which we'll get into. But like Black Lightning being its own show, still running on the CW. Like now that you've introduced that, you can cross over to that Earth again down the road and
It's
bring
like
more
when
of that cast.
Supergirl crossed over the first time.
But I hope that they'll
Yeah.
bring Thunder or his other daughter.
Yeah.
That'd
It's
be
Lightning,
great.
right?
Huh?
It's
Lightning?
right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think his daughters are Thunder and Lightning.
Yeah.
Like my two fists.
I don't watch it. I just know that from the comics.
I
watched the first couple
I
episodes.
said that because I don't think that they've given her moniker yet.
Got it.
Thunder does have hers,
Got it.
but I don't think the other sister has hers yet.
Cool. And the other bit of news that came out of the TCA was that Kevin Conroy will be returning as Bruce Wayne.
As
Hell
Bruce Wayne.
yeah.
That's super dope.
That is super cool.
Yes.
That this 80-year-old voice actor from our childhood is going to be playing Bruce Wayne.
I now 100% believe Michael Rosenbaum is coming in to play the Flash.
Yeah.
Well, now they
100%.
absolutely can.
Yeah, 100%. I think he's playing the Flash.
So it was interesting. So he could be. I think. So let's put my nerd brain on. He's Bruce Wayne from the Batman Beyond TV series, and we could possibly see a Tara McGinnis.
See, that's like a dream. I
God,
would
just
think
bring
of.
in Will Friedle.
Yeah.
Just bring in Will Friedle.
Oh
I
my-
don't even. Just do it.
Oh my god.
He's been working out
I
anyway.
did not even consider about that.
Oh
Yes.
my God.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's my nerd brain. That's my nerd. What I
because
want
that's
from
brilliant
my
because
nerd
he's
brain.
not. They would say if he's playing Batman,
Yeah.
he's playing Bruce Wayne.
So the
Yeah,
other
he's
thing
playing
is,
old Bruce Wayne.
That's awesome.
I think this is interesting also because they keep getting as close as they possibly can to introducing Batman,
Yes.
without actually introducing Batman.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Incredible.
I really hope they don't reveal this, but like we're now just like one step away from like Linda Carter and Tom Welling just
I
showing
heard
up.
Linda Carter's already doing it.
I heard that, but I also heard at the same time with the Tom Welling thing, and I think until they announce
Yeah.
it, like I'm
Yeah.
not. But I'm not going to
Linda Carter is so not a stretch because
she's
she
in
was
Supergirl.
because she was the president
Yeah.
on Supergirl
Yeah.
for a season.
Yeah.
Or two. I think two.
I watched the season where she was in it, so it had to have been.
Yeah, I
at
think it
least
was
one.
two. Yeah. Yeah, because it was season 4. She was gone. I think Linda Carter is almost an inevitability. I think Tom Welling is an inevitability because Stephen Amell's already said that he wants Tom Welling there because he's like, I want the fans to get what they want.
Yeah.
And again, Michael Rosenbaum, like, it doesn't make sense for him to be Lex Luthor. It makes more sense to be a hero.
Yeah.
Who can, like, actually, because the Flash is
Yeah,
involved.
yeah. Uh-huh.
That would be, to see him in the Flash costume would be, like, truly
So
nerd,
good.
like, it's not, again, like, nothing is going to be as
Can
big
you?
as
Can I give you
Endgame,
this?
but,
Can I
like,
give you this image?
give it to me.
2 John Wesley ships,
Mhm.
1 Grant Gustin,
Mhm.
1 Michael Rosenbaum,
Yep.
all running together.
Yeah. That's a comic book cover, baby.
That is
Yeah.
definitely a comic book
Mhm.
cover.
Bruce Wayne, or excuse me, Kevin
Except
Conroy.
it would only be one John Wesley ship.
Well, as Jay
Jay
Garrick,
Jay Garrick is trapped in the Speed Force.
that bitch.
He went in there. He went in there
That's
to
true.
free Barry, and he
You're
stayed
right.
there.
I remember
true.
that season.
Yeah.
He's not come out.
No.
That bitch.
He's still trapped.
Get out.
He can't. He sacrificed himself.
Honestly, it's so complicated already. Just let him be the '80s Flash. That's better.
Yeah.
The
Just let
90s
him be.
Flash.
Sorry, yeah, the '90s Flash. Just let him be that, and bring in Michael Rosenbaum as the Flash. I think would be
Yo,
excellent,
man, Kevin Conroy
especially because he's Wally West.
and
Yeah.
Burt Ward are going to have a scene together for sure. As
100%.
talking-
I was going to say, do you think Burt Ward is just
He's
Kevin
Dick
Conroy's?
Grayson. He's
Dick Grayson.
I was thinking
No,
he was Batman,
No,
like,
so
but
I think
retired.
So I think he's Dick Grayson, who's become Batman from the '60s series.
Yes.
No, Oh, okay.
yeah, because there's no Adam West.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think that's why. I think that it's So Kevin Conroy. Taking off my nerd hat, there's a number of possibilities that we can go here with Kevin Conroy. He could be the Arrowverse Batman.
Yeah.
Retired.
Is that the Batwoman one then?
Yeah.
I feel like
I think he had to be way younger.
Yeah.
they implied in the Batwoman stuff that Batman had just left a few years ago, not that Batman
That's
had
true.
had like gotten
Honestly,
old.
Yeah.
the Batman Beyond thing is the best idea.
No,
The
I
best
think
possibility.
100% that's
Holy shit! I didn't even consider that. That's
the,
awesome.
The other thing is he could just be a Bruce Wayne. He doesn't even need to be the
'Cause it
Batman
is the
Beyond
multiverse.
Bruce Wayne.
Sure.
Yeah, it is the multiverse.
But come
So-
on.
Yeah, come on.
So that means we're also going to have. Come on, we have Tom Welling. Like, I know they haven't said it, but there's no way.
This is it.
So it's Tom Welling with Tyler Hoechlin and Brandon Routh.
Yes.
Yeah.
And possibly Dean Cain.
I'd like to see him come back as Superman.
It's not unrealistic.
I mean, they've all done Supergirl again, right? Like Dean
Yeah.
Cain was on Supergirl.
Dean Cain has been.
Uh,
Dean Cain
Terry
is
Hatcher.
Kara's
do you
dad.
think that they'll let Kara's mom suit up as Supergirl also from another Earth?
from the
Because she's already on the
Yeah.
show all the time.
she could be the
It almost
representative-
feels insulting not to invite her.
she could be the representative of the Chris Reeves universe because that movie was a spinoff.
Yeah. Oh man. Honestly, they can do whatever they want. This is
I
so
love
cool.
it. I'm
This is
so
cool.
excited.
It's really cool that we got
everything
to
is
this
a
point.
multiverse, even
Yeah.
the animated shows.
This is so cool.
That's-
Nothing is off limits.
I didn't think about the Supergirl thing. That'd be super cool.
I didn't think about Batman Beyond. Yeah.
What if Kevin Conroy's Batman? I mean, this doesn't mean anything. But what if he's actually just older Arkham games Batman?
Ooh.
That'd be a weird one.
There'd be no reason to
Yeah.
tie that
Yeah.
in. I think it's far better for it to be Batman Beyond. But I'm like, it could be.
That'd be weird.
Yeah.
He's all animated. Yeah.
I'd like to see Dean Cain return to Superman.
Just give me everybody. I don't care. Throw in everyone.
That's the thing.
He's not
Justin
my
Hartley.
Superman, but I'm like, go for it.
Justin Hartley.
Justin Hartley, I really
Justin
want.
Hartley.
Bing bong.
Like at this point, I'm kind of watching these announcements. Just be like, go for gold.
Yeah. This is
What
the
if-
final. This is your chance.
What if they don't bring Justin Hartley on as Green Arrow, but they bring him on as Aquaman from his canceled
Holy
pilot?
shit. No.
What if he's just classic?
Are they
style
ballsy
Aquaman?
enough to do that?
Holy crap!
Are they ballsy enough to?
Come on, that's deep cut as
Yeah.
hell.
I mean, honestly, they're getting Burt Ward.
You've
So,
got like essentially a Justice League there.
You know what? I was just thinking. What if they brought in Tom Welling's Justice League?
that'd be sick.
Uh-huh.
If they just
So-
all show up at once, that'd be sick
Bart,
as shit.
So Bart Allen, Cyborg.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind. I mean,
I
we're
don't
starting
think,
to get
I don't,
a lot.
I don't think those actors are big enough that they would bring them. Also, I believe the actor who played Cyborg passed away.
You're absolutely
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, so I
I
don't think
remember that now.
they'd go for it.
Do you think we could see Tom Welling and she's also on Supergirl?
What if
could
we
see her
got-
come back?
Hold on. What if we got Lucas Gabriel back as Connor Kent?
That's what I was just saying.
I was
What if we got
trying-
Connor Kent?
I was trying to think of a way to bring Superboy in, and I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, he was on Smallville.
Yeah, he was.
Bring on Lucas. Please
Do
don't
it.
I
You know
barely-
what? I'm okay with not having
You know
that
what?
one.
You know what? I don't like this. I don't like quoting memes a lot, but do it, you cowards.
Yeah, do it. Yeah. I gotta tell you what, this makes me really excited for the Arrow universe, and I wish I cared more about the shows at this point.
I'm honestly just waiting for like one person to be announced coming from the DC universe shows.
That would wreck my shit, dude.
Just bring Swamp Thing.
Don't even
just be like, we're sorry that got canceled.
Don't
Here's
even
Swamp
play
Thing
with my heart.
hanging out with Constantine.
Constantine, I would lose my shit.
Derek Mears has joined the
What about the Spectre
crossover
for the Constantine TV series?
Oh my God! Bring in the Phantom Stranger.
They
baby.
Could do anything, right?
Baby,
I would love to see the Spectre and the Phantom Stranger on the same
That'd be nuts.
the same screen together.
Oh my God, the Phantom Stranger would be so easy too. Just bring him. Don't even bring anybody else from the DC Universe stuff. Just bring the Phantom Stranger. That same guy. That's enough. That's enough.
It's really cool stuff.
This is a small thing, but I kind of hope we see Chaz again from the Constantine TV series.
Yeah.
This is the smartest thing that I think DC can do, and I don't just mean on the CW shows. I mean across all their media. Just say all your media is the multiverse.
Lean into it.
Just be able to pull from all of it at any time you want.
Yeah.
Seriously. That is the only way
And
you
honestly,
get a leg
like,
up on the MCU at this point.
with the Flash, with John Wesley Shipp, like that was like their big entry point, right? That was the first time, like, oh yeah, let's just do it.
Well, even before that, when Barry first goes into the Speed Force to travel through time, we see
when he's running
a bunch of parallel universes.
Right, that's right.
Pass by, and I almost expected to see Ezra Miller run by.
Oh, jeez.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like if they just go for it and say they have the corporate synergy and they just say, yeah, everything is a multiverse. We can pull from anything at any time to do any story. Great.
Is Crisis
Cool.
when
Do
Superboy punches a hole through reality?
That's Infinite Crisis.
That's Infinite Crisis? Okay.
So that's
the next one.
That's the next saga.
Gotcha.
God, I'm so excited.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, like those shows are wonky, but so are a lot of things that a lot
But the
of these other
crossovers at
people
least are
coming
always
from.
pretty much
Right.
fun.
And so are a lot of the things that all these other people are coming from
Yeah.
anyway. Like some of them are good, some of them are, But hey, you want to make it all part of one thing? Awesome.
Yeah, no, do it.
The people who make these crossovers like know how to make fun comic book events,
For
which
sure.
is
That's why
all
I
I
like
could
the
say for
crossovers
them.
a lot, because the crossovers feel like I'm watching a comic book unfold on screen.
Yeah.
And that's really cool.
Week to week, yeah.
The other news is that we got some release dates for when these crossovers are going to be.
Oh boy.
So
much goodwill.
So we have part 1 will air on Supergirl on Sunday, December 8th. Part 2 will air on Batwoman on Monday, December 9th. Part 3 will be Flash on Tuesday, December 10th.
Real quick, is Batwoman would have already started?
Yes, Batwoman would have already
Yeah.
started. And then part 4 will air on Arrow Tuesday, January 14th.
Over a month later.
Now, what's interesting is
why?
that I'm surprised they didn't just expand to a 6-hour now that they announced Black Lightning's part of it.
I felt the same way. I was surprised.
I was like,
too.
just make his show part of it too. Just
Yeah.
all 6.
And are these all just going to be hour-long episodes?
Yes.
Why
and
break
part,
them up?
And then part 5 will be Legend of Tomorrow on Tuesday, January 14th.
Yeah,
so
so
it's a two-parter finale.
Yeah.
Why? Unless like part
There's
3,
going to be some major
part 3 is like a
cliffhanger.
huge cliffhanger, which
Yeah.
like changes the state
It
of the
will
world.
absolutely be a cliffhanger.
I just wish but you could do that and just have the next week's
Darkseid
episode.
snaps his fingers and half the universe disappears.
Oh man,
Bring in Smallville Darkseid, you cowards.
I love comics.
Bring back Jonathan.
yeah. We got this. We're on the same page.
Bring back Lionel Luthor, you cowards.
Bring back Lionel Luthor as Darkseid.
Oh my god, dude, that Darkseid stuff in Smallville is bad.
It is.
It is really bad.
Oh man, the smoky. Oh god.
Bring
just
back
thinking
Sam
about
Witwer's
it.
Doomsday.
Yes. Do it.
Bring no, don't do that,
Don't
please.
do it.
Krypton's
That's
Doomsday
really
and Sam
bad.
Witwer's
I love Sam
Doomsday.
Witwer, but don't do it.
Hell yeah, bring Krypton into it.
Krypton's Doomsday.
Oh
and Sam
yeah,
Witwer's
no,
Doomsday.
bring the Zod from Krypton, 100%, because he's
Dude,
from
I
Arrow
keep seeing
anyway.
stuff every week. How like the show keeps getting cooler and cooler. I'm like, I have to watch Krypton. Jesus.
It's so good.
It's on DC Universe.
I got
Bring
it.
in Lobo.
He would destroy everyone.
All right. So that's all really
That
cool.
was a fun topic. A
Very
fun little chat.
exciting. Can't wait for this to start.
I'm
Heck
so
yeah.
ready.
I don't like it that it's broken up in half. I don't like that.
Yeah, no, it's dumb.
Yeah, I don't like that there's a month wait between, but as long as it's all good,
Does that
I
mean that
ultimately
they're
don't
filming
care.
them not at the exact same time? You think?
No, they're filming them at the same time
Then
because
why?
it's just the break.
But why?
Because they still got to meet that winter hiatus, I guess.
Yeah, I get it.
All right. So, the MCU.
Maku.
We've wanted. Well, I personally don't believe these shows exist in the MCU, but that is just my own personal head theory.
They've confirmed in their own. Well, I mean, they say Stark.
The president is wrong.
The president is wrong, but it's also been 6 years since the Iron Man 3, as Ellis isn't president anymore.
Oh, that's a good point.
They mentioned Stark in the show and Stark Tech. So
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did the same thing. The incident and
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. literally
is
has
it-
Sam Jackson on it, so that's
That
kind
is-
of different.
no. So
Yeah.
okay. I don't. It
We
doesn't
don't need to get into
No,
this.
It
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
actually matter.
yeah, yeah.
But here is my headcanon. the movies, and then there is a Divergent timeline where all the TV shows exist.
Whatever you need, baby. It's fine.
And that's what I need to keep me sane.
Mm-hmm.
So Runaways and Cloak and Dagger will be the first TV series that Marvel has produced to have crossover.
That's super cool. Super cool.
Yeah.
They released a cute little video of like the Runaways like, hey guys, we're working on season 3. Can't wait to show you. And then it zooms out, and then Cloak and Dagger are there, and they're like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, a couple of the Runaway kids are going to L.A. And they will run into Cloak and Dagger, and it will be one episode.
No, the Runaways are in L.A.
Yeah.
Cloak and Dagger
are in New Orleans.
They're going to L.A.
that way.
Bing bong.
So it's going to be one episode in Runaway season 3.
Yep.
Yes.
Which has Morgan Le Fay in it.
I'm happy.
Absolutely going to catch up on Runaways.
Those
Hell
shows are so good. And the thing is, like, I know what you just said about the headcanon. I'm not really referencing to that. But, like, these shows are the ones that, more than Netflix shows and more than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., are allowed so well to stand apart from the films. They really don't need to be referencing them deeply at all. And they work so well in their own... I had a word. Yeah, like... they work so well
environment?
There. Yeah, there's a word, but I can't find it.
Biome.
But I'm so happy that these are coming together because these shows, once you've watched both seasons of the shows, they're meant to blend.
Yeah, it makes sense.
They're so good. And the cast are so
totally
strong.
makes sense.
I never saw a second season of Runaways. Not for lack of interest. I really liked the first season
Same,
of
yeah.
Runaways. I just haven't gotten
Cloak and
to it
Dagger
yet.
is really good, man.
Yeah,
like, really good.
I haven't gotten to Cloak and Dagger yet. I've heard good things though.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
I will absolutely be watching this when it happens.
Hell
So if you guys want to catch up, I started Runaway season 2 and I've enjoyed what I've watched so far. And Cloak
How
and
many
Dagger,
episodes are you in?
3.
I can catch up.
Yeah. And Cloak and Dagger is chef kiss.
Chef kiss, baby.
So good. Cloak and Dagger.
Thank you for adopting the chef kiss.
Cloak and Dagger is so fantastic. Season 1 handled this exploration on self-identity and at their age and that exploration and race so well. I was floored.
Very classy.
Yeah. It's like, how is this a freeform show?
Yeah.
How is a freeform show handling this better than most of these other ones that are on Hulu, ABC, and Netflix? How is this doing it better?
Is it streaming on Hulu?
It is streaming on Hulu.
You know what, dude? Like, they're not X-Men, but wait, are they X-Men? Cloak and Dagger.
Cloak and Dagger are not mutants.
They're not. I think they are.
I don't think so. I've never heard them referred to as mutants.
It doesn't matter. The stuff that is in Cloak and Dagger reminds me of X-Men stuff, but like using race and superpowers at the same time.
Yeah,
like that's really good, like X-Men stuff.
Yes,
I forgot that second season came out. Shit.
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff to watch, my guys.
Yeah, so happy. There's fans and the cast have been waiting for this to happen. Yeah. So I'm really glad it's coming true.
Same.
They were at one time, but they have no longer been considered mutants.
Well, there you go.
Cool.
So yes and no.
Cool. Comic books.
Yeah, it's kind of what they tried. I guess it's a little bit like they tried to do with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
They've done that multiple times with them. Just make up your minds.
Brandon, I really think if you start Cloak and Dagger, you won't want to put it down.
I hope so.
I really do. So wait until you got some time, and then set aside some time and just dive in because it's worth it.
I also need to set aside some time for those damn Netflix shows.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh,
but at least those are dead though.
I just heard about the twist in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I'm really glad I'm not watching it.
Oh yeah, I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah.
All right. I like the 5 seasons I watch. I'm good with that. The Stand, which is a Stephen King joint. So bad Ben's not here.
Sorry, Ben.
He
would know a lot about.
He would have been really excited to tell us what the Stand was. So the Stand is a CBS All Access miniseries that's coming out in 2020. At the Television Critics Association, the TCAs, they announced the cast, and they took the chance to reveal that Stephen King is writing a new ending for the series.
Ooh, okay.
So a little bit like Lemony Snicket did with Series of Unfortunate Events, actually.
Snicket.
Which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
The Stand is a post-apocalyptic horror fantasy novel. It expands upon the scenario of his earlier short story, Night Surf. So it's a post-apocalyptic story. There you go.
Night Surf.
The Man in Black is a prominent character in the series, I know.
I love Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey was attached to an adaptation of this for a long time.
Yeah. It's really exciting. I hope that they can get Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones back for this.
I hate you.
All right.
We don't know who's going to be playing Randall Flagg, a.k.a. Walter.
With 2 Gs.
Which is the Man in Black, which is Matthew McConaughey
yeah.
The Dark Tower.
Mm-hmm.
But the full cast is James Marsden, as Stu
Woo!
Redman.
Good for him.
Good for Doctor Doom.
And
Wait, James
Marsden.
Marsden.
Oh, Cyclops.
No. We talked about James Marsden's show before. That was Runaways.
Sorry.
James Marsden.
Got it. Cyclops.
Cyclops end of Westworld.
Yes.
Yeah. Amber Heard as Nadine Cross.
Right on.
Very interesting.
Odessa Young as Franny Goldsmith. Henry Zaga as Nick Andros. I didn't write it down here, but Whoopi Goldberg has also been cast in the series.
Cool.
Whoa.
Where's Whoopi been?
On The View.
Oh, I don't. You're right. I don't watch The View.
Yeah.
Well, whoopee. I'm glad.
Oh boy.
Like, you just coming in here with the bullshit.
With this bullshit.
I'm serving you Goldberg, okay?
I was just gonna say that. Damn it. Meet the Goldbergs.
Marilyn Manson has also been cast in the series. And
Not Charles Manson.
No, Marilyn Manson.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson.
That's incredible. That's actually really incredible.
He's a
Marilyn
spooky
Manson
guy.
being in this is awesome.
He's been cast in an undisclosed role, and he's also contributing to the soundtrack.
He's 1,000% a vampire.
He is definitely a spooky man in that, for
I'm
sure.
so happy.
That's super cool. I like that guy.
That's why I said Marilyn Manson in the
Yeah,
beginning.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool.
They've been talking about doing this. Like Ron Howard was going to do it for like a decade. I'm glad.
Ron Howard was attached to do The Dark Tower for a decade.
Yeah, and he wanted to do like a movie and a TV show
Yeah.
connected, and then that movie came out.
Ron Howard was trying to get a Stephen King shared universe going.
He really tried, man.
Let's be honest. It is upsetting that they don't have it going.
Yeah.
Like it's right there.
It's so upsetting
Our
to me.
Friend of the podcast, Matt Ferranti, has been
Yeah.
like, "How are they not? I don't understand. It's all right there. They could have this massively financially lucrative Stephen King universe if they would just
and
get
it's
their
funny
shit
because
together."
Castle Rock is that, but it's just all in this one show.
Yeah.
So a couple of the biggest problem is that all these different studios hold the rights to these properties. To these
For sure.
books.
You sell
For
them
sure.
off, you got to make money.
And one of the things that you could do with a shared Stephen King universe is because that is the hurdle, yes, but it doesn't need to be, because these books are only at best tangentially connected. Like characters show up, sure, but
Except for the Dark Tower.
except for the Dark Tower series, like you could have just have it be its own world and the Stand be its own world, but maybe Matthew McConaughey is in the Stand, and so it's like
Yeah,
it
that's
could
all
have
you
worked.
need. Yeah. 100%. Like it's insane because what it is
Much like
like
crossovers and
everything.
stuff,
The only books where everything else connects into is the Dark Tower.
Yeah.
So in the Dark Tower, as long as whenever you bring back those characters or the events or whatever,
It's the same
it's
actor.
all the same things from the others, then it works.
Yeah.
But otherwise, they all stand on their own.
It's like
oh
the-
yeah, stand on their own.
Yep.
Cool.
I hate all of you. Anyway, moving on.
The Stand is the most directly connected to Dark Tower because of Randall Flagg, from what I understand. But yeah, you easily, like, there are references to all the different ones across all of them. The Shining and Carrie are very closely connected because Carrie was
Shine.
actually having the Shine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, Doctor Sleep.
That's
baby.
where Dr. Sleep
And
comes
they
in.
talk about the events of Carrie in The Shining in the book.
And everyone who does these adaptations, they try to pepper in little bits. Like we get references to other.
They
Stephen
mentioned
King
the Shine and
properties.
Dark Tower movie, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a prominent feature.
Yeah.
The Shine isn't copyright. The Shining is
No,
copyrighted.
yeah.
Man, Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey are in a big budget like Stephen King like franchise starter, and it breaks my heart that it's like it was bad.
Yeah.
Like because Idris Elba, he deserves a big franchise movie, man. He's so cool.
It's a bummer. And I mean, like, I think it would have been better if there was just cohesion of, like, we could put all this together. Anyway, we're not getting it. We're not getting a
No.
Stephen King connected universe because everybody's dumb.
Everyone hates it.
Yeah.
It's awful.
It would have been such a unique, different.
Oh my
type
goodness,
of shared
yeah.
universe.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
If you had done it
A
all
horror
together,
shared
like you
universe,
just
yeah.
picture the quality of like what they put into it, you put that quality into all the rest of the properties, you have a franchise that is mostly horror related.
I mean, look at The Conjuring,
which would compete with
Yeah.
both Fast and Furious and the MCU and The Conjuring.
Yeah. All right. So, Halo had some casting. We now know who's going to be. Obviously, we know who is playing Master Chief, but we now know who is playing Cortana and Dr. Halsey.
That's dope. Super cool.
Natasha McElhone.
Yes.
Sure. She's going to be playing both because Dr. Halsey the character who voices Dr. Halsey created Cortana. It's
In
The
her
character who
image.
voices Cortana is
it's
Dr. Halsey.
because
Yes.
Dr. Halsey created Cortana.
Yes.
Unless Fall of Reach is to be believed, in which case Cortana may or may not have been an alien AI.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Complicated.
Only complicated once they made 4.
Ugh. You're right.
Everything was complicated once they made 4. And then they made 5.
Womp womp.
So Dr. Halsey is the brilliant, conflicted, and inscrutable creator of the Spartan super soldiers, and Cortana, the most advanced AI in human history, and potentially the key to the survival of the human race.
I really hope they dive into... I read one of the Halo books a long time ago, so my memory on it's very vague. But I really hope, because they don't really go into it, into the like psychology and like the truly messed up nature of like taking these kids from a young age and turning them into super soldiers.
Oh, for sure.
It's Warhammer. That's exactly what they do in Warhammer.
Yes.
But Warhammer leans into it. In Halo, it's kind of like, oh, he's the best soldier ever. But that's traumatizing. That's horrifying. And like, I hope they go into the confliction that she has about this.
So there's
That's dope.
there's a podcast that was made for Halo before Halo 5 came out, and it was supposed to be like supplemental material that kind of led into Halo 5. It wound up having nothing to do with the story of Halo 5, but that podcast itself is incredible because it's all about Keegan-Michael Key playing a reporter who's investigating where Master Chief came from and learning about these kids, and he's digging too deep, and he gets found out by a military hard woman who's trying to stop him, and she's Colby Smulders. So that's an incredible
know about
that's
this?
an incredible 2-season podcast you should check out.
And it's
That
like
sounds
it's like a fiction. It's like a Wolverine.
It's
The Long
entirely
Night podcast?
yes, it's entirely a fictional thing of him broadcasting what he's learning about Master Chief and all these interviews he's doing as he goes trying to unpiece this.
That's amazing.
It's fantastic.
What's it called? What's it called? Can we get a plug?
I'll look up the name right
The
now.
Halo podcast.
But
yeah.
but
Awesome.
you're exactly right because that's the kind of stuff I want them to explore, and that's another reason, not just like the marketing of Halo 5, which was already a problem. That podcast was another reason why I'm like, this game is terrible because it didn't even acknowledge the stuff
like
we were learning.
one of the I don't remember if it's Halo 3, 4, 5, 7, I don't remember, but like it shows Chief like as a kid like in this field, and then it shows him like in the Master Chief program and like him like losing his humanity, like not
Pretty sure it's
smiling.
3.
It's 3, yeah. And I'm like, man, like this is actually really sad.
So one of the reasons why they move away from that is because the Spartan program. So the Spartan program was not after Master Chief was the last Spartan up until 3. Like there was no more
genetic
Spartans.
engineering one.
the
yeah.
the podcast was called Halo 5 Hunt the Truth.
Wow, that's why I didn't pay attention to it because it was Halo 5.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be a tie-in to Halo 5.
That's awesome.
That's how it was designed, but then the game had nothing to do with it. But you can also just find it if you look up
and
Hunt
then
the
just
Truth.
random regular people started becoming human Spartans. You didn't need to genetically augment
so
them.
Halo 4 and 5 reintroduced the Spartan program, like the
Lock.
Spartan 8s or whatever,
Yeah.
and they're all just normal people, which is why Nathan Fillion is a Spartan, and I just hate that.
He was an ODST guy, and now he's a Spartan guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right. so that's cool. That podcast sounds cool.
It
Oh,
really does.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah.
So back to this.
Halo's super cool.
So they're going to be joined by Bokeem Woodbine and Shabana Azmi, who Woodbine will play Soren 066, a morally complex privateer at the fringes of human civilization, whose fate will bring him into conflict into his former military masters and his old friend, the Master Chief. Azim will portray Admiral Margaret Perengoski,
Ooh.
the head of the Office of Naval Intelligence. Woodbine is a familiar actor to us. I don't remember what he's been in, but I've seen him.
Okay.
I actually think I mistook him for Dave Chappelle in The Star Is Born.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Is it the guy who's the Shocker in Spider-Man?
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah.
He's in the trailer for Queen and Slim, which we saw today.
Yeah, but yes.
looks good.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
looks good.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the trailer for Tenet?
Yeah.
Did you get that?
It's 15 seconds long. I know it's
I
about
didn't
time
get it.
travel.
Yeah, I really like Bokeem Woodbine. He was in Overlord also.
You're right, he was.
Uh,
God, Overlord's so good.
He's really good in Fargo and Saving Grace with Holly Hunter.
right on.
I didn't get the Tenet trailer, which is why I asked.
It's... I don't think it's a good trailer. But
I don't
like,
think it's a good trailer
it's
either.
super weird.
It's
Yeah.
basically entirely marketed on. Do you like Christopher Nolan?
Yeah.
That's
all it is.
That's how Dunkirk
because
was,
because
too.
all it is
Dunkirk
like,
showed you more.
no, Dunkirk showed you more. This is like 40 seconds, and it shows you an actor. And it's like this actor in this movie with Christopher Nolan about stuff,
Yeah, that's all.
and that's it.
I
Makes sense.
need a real trailer to know what's going on.
I have no idea what the movie's about. I have no reason to be
I know what it
excited
is
at the moment.
from the synopsis.
So I didn't think that this would be anything. The trailer would be anything because the movie's not. Movie's only like 2 weeks into filming.
Christopher Nolan does this all the time though. Like every movie, he releases stuff super early.
Yeah.
Just because he likes to build the hype,
And like
marketing likes to build the hype.
He really shouldn't have with this. The only reason why he did was because he wanted people to go see
Yeah.
movies.
It comes out
July
a year from
July
now.
2020.
Yeah, a year from now.
Yeah.
It's bananas.
This I didn't think this trailer was going to be anything.
No, it's
It's not really.
It's really bad. Honestly, this is the problem I have, not with Christopher Nolan, but with the marketing for Christopher Nolan films.
Yeah.
I really hate it because all you're trying to sell me on is like, you'll buy Christopher Nolan movie tickets, right? And I'm like, I haven't bought the last two, so you're clearly not getting me.
You should, though.
What's the last two? Dunkirk and
And Interstellar.
Interstellar is my favorite of his.
Interstellar is really good.
I really think it's a gem.
Yeah. Dunkirk, you can skip.
I'm not knocking the movies.
No, I
I'm
know.
just saying like the marketing puts me off.
Yeah, I feel you.
You can absolutely skip Dunkirk.
Yeah.
All right, so the series will also introduce 3 all-new characters. It's the Halo universe. Bentley Kalu will play Spartan Vanek 134.
Okay, so we're getting Spartans. Other
A
Spartans.
cybernetically augmented super soldier, but with Spartans. Super soldier conscripted at childhood who serves as the defective deputy to the Master Chief. So it looks like probably before Reach.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it looks like we were looking at the series before Reach.
Oh my
I
god,
hope
that'd be
so.
dope if we had like
honestly,
if, like the
with-
fall of Reach was like a thing that happens.
Well, and the age of the actress playing Halsey would imply that.
Yeah, it's true.
Because she's pretty old post 3.
yeah.
Natasha Kolzak will star in the role of Spartan Riz-028, a focused professional and deadly cybernetically enhanced killing machine. Kate Kennedy stars as Spartan Kai-125, an all-new courageous, curious, and deadly Spartan super soldier.
Dude, just make them the characters from Reach. Does half of those characters sound like the characters from Reach?
So it looks like what they're doing in this show is going to show Master Chief before Reach, so before we got to the Halo rings.
Before the Covenant, even?
No, I don't think we're before the Covenant. I think we're in
need an enemy,
we're in the
right?
throes of the Covenant.
Yeah.
But this is definitely pre Halo 5 Spartan program. So this is definitely there.
I'm glad we're starting way back when.
Yeah, me too. But the other thing is, remember in Halo 5 how Master Chief has a team of Spartans?
Mhm.
Those are all the same type of Spartans as Master Chief. They're not the new Spartans.
Okay.
They were Spartans that survived Reach.
Right.
One of the things. So I wasn't as disappointed in Halo 5 as you guys were because I knew what to expect.
Yeah.
But one of the things that did disappoint me is that in Halo 5 he just has new Spartan 1s, and that's ridiculous because they were all supposed to be wiped out in Reach.
Yes.
Yes.
That's kind of the whole point and why Reach is important.
Yeah.
Because it makes Master Chief
apparently-
There's a
surviving.
lot of framing problems with
And
Halo
apparently
5.
there is a book that explains that after Halo 3 he goes looking for these super soldier for these
This
Spartans.
is like Dragon Ball Z
Do you
introducing
mean
like
after
oh
Halo 4?
No, it apparently have to
He's
Halo 3.
asleep until the beginning of Halo 4.
Oh, you're so
guess we
maybe-
got to read the book.
either I'm wrong or the book's wrong.
No, I get
It's
you.
most
That's why
likely
I'm
I'm
asking.
wrong.
That's why I'm asking because
Yeah.
he's asleep until the
Hey.
beginning of Halo 4.
Hey guys, maybe Halo right now is really messy and it used to be really good and it's not anymore. I'm excited for this show.
Maybe the only people who ever should have made Halo were Bungie.
Yeah.
That's super true.
Microsoft should never have taken the rights back.
Hey, man.
Rights.
Bungie knows that too.
Destiny-
That's why they just went independent.
Destiny up to this point has proven that like Bungie, when they get to do their own thing, they're better off.
Yeah. And again, they just went
No,
independent.
I don't like Destiny.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is because Activision had their hands all up in it, Bungie just went independent. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I see.
Once they have control of it, everybody's like been talking about just the updates they've been doing to Destiny 2. Everybody's like, "Oh, this game's actually really good now."
Because they treated Destiny like a Call of Duty, like a Battlefield, where like they just like nobody. They you had to spend so much money to actually make progress in the game,
Sure.
and that's so shitty. That is
Yeah.
such a shitty thing to do.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for the series.
I am very excited. Yeah.
I will be excited when I actually see a trailer.
Showtime, right?
Showtime.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So, The Man Who Fell to Earth is a David Bowie TV movie.
Yes.
It's a David Bowie movie. His first movie. I hear.
Possibly. Yeah.
It is getting a television adaptation for CBS All Access from Alex Kurtzman.
Yeah. So that's a lot of mixed emotions.
Yeah, right.
I think the movie's really fun. I watched it. I haven't watched it in like 15 years, but like when I was learning
does-
about David Bowie.
Who does Kurtzman have pictures of
I know,
at
right?
CBS?
I've
got
been
some
wondering
dirt.
the same thing.
The most blackmail ever.
Remember after The Mummy failed, and he put out a hit piece on the current showrunners of then current showrunners of Star Trek Discovery, and positioned himself as the head of all of Star Trek for CBS All Access.
How do you like destroy the dark universe before it even starts, and then be given all of Star Trek? That's
He
nuts.
has to have some
Dude,
dirt.
Yeah.
I don't understand how Kurtzman has had a career past Revenge of the Fallen. So
Same.
I don't know.
Is
man.
that before or after Into Darkness?
That was
or is it
before.
around the same
That was
time?
before.
Before?
It was
Okay.
well before.
Jesus.
Yeah. So
Anyway, the Man Who Fell to Earth is a really like emotional tale of like this alien trying to like be human, and it's like a
Yeah.
very David Bowie type of movie. it's on CBS All Access, so like it's going to be given a lot of money, which means, but also no one's going to watch it because it's on CBS All Access.
And we don't know how they get the money to put into these projects.
Seriously, like all the shows look really nice, but like who's watching?
Clearly, enough people are watching it that they keep making
guess.
shows for it. So
I guess so.
And they put a lot of money into those shows.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I guess it's cool. Let's look for a
CBS has a
trailer.
weird amount of money when you break it down because like.
Yo, man,
they
young
paid
Sheldon.
They paid out the actress for Big Bang Theory $1 million an episode, so they clearly make some money.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then the other thing is that HBO Max will be the exclusive streaming home for Doctor Who and other BBC America shows.
Like Luther, which I really like.
Yeah.
Do you think
Top
it's going
Gear.
to be the only streaming home for like all BBC America shows now?
BBC
All the
has
ones
a-
that matter.
Are they
BBC
taking
has-
Orphan Black?
BBC has their own streaming service.
Yeah, no, I know that. But now we're not going to have Doctor Who on that, correct?
Does that say exclusive? So I
That's
guess
what
not.
I'm asking
Yeah.
because we've had the BBC America streaming service.
Yeah.
So they're pulling all of it. It's just being absorbed.
Oh, I
Because like,
guess
what is the
so.
BBC
It said
America streaming
exclusive.
service without
you read the thing
Doctor
earlier.
Who,
Yeah,
without
it does say-
Luther, without all these
That's why
shows
this
that
is
everybody
so-
watches over here in the
a
States?
lot of these shows are on Netflix and Amazon Prime here in the States.
I
and
watch
there
all
will be
those shows on Netflix.
Maybe exclusive American home.
Yeah.
But I'm asking the same thing because BBC America does have a streaming service that you can still access here.
That's a good question.
The wording, again, it might be too early to know, but the wording that you read earlier, Brandon, was exclusive streaming rights.
Yeah.
To me, sounds like this is the only place you can
Because for example, like I have access to it. I access it through a Dish password, right? Because we have the subscription, so I can watch the newest episodes of things up to a certain date. So is that just done?
For
Gone?
Doctor Who, it's done.
It seems like it.
Well, and I'm assuming like for all the other shows too. So like,
Yeah.
is that just the death of the BBC America streaming service app here in the States?
Here's the thing, like as we were talking about making big deals,
Yeah.
maybe the deal was worth it too. Just that the streaming service isn't worth it. We'll get a lot more money from HBO or Warner Brothers.
Well, but it wasn't like a subscription service, you know.
But that's what I mean. Like maybe
Yeah.
like the money was so good. Like hey, like
I guess.
this is for us.
So
like screw the
BBC
audience.
So I know that BBC has a streaming service that was only available in
UK.
the UK. There's also Sky Atlantic.
Every country has their own like different
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So Disney, by the way, owns Sky Atlantic, so it sucks to be you guys.
Bam.
Because they bought Fox.
Yeah.
So possibly we will see the end of the BBC America streaming service. But like Ryan said, I think it's too early to say.
Yeah,
This doesn't.
they're going to take Orphan Black off Prime. You guys got to watch Orphan Black, baby.
Yeah. Just get it on DVD.
Man, I mean, I intend to.
There you go.
I want that whole complete series, but I want
was
everybody to watch it.
There was a great post on a page I follow where someone posted their one media shelf of DVDs and Blu-rays. So I was like, cute, but but he just goes, I'm so happy I have all this physical media because when all your favorite shows are split up between 15 different streaming services, I'll be able to watch them whenever I want.
I mean, it's true.
And that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
So I was talking to this before. In the desire to destroy physical media, studios have recreated the need for it
In a weird way. Yeah.
in a very strange way. They have gone to the point where, and so Sparks, you told me this, that DVD sales were up,
Yeah.
and up after a steady decline.
Yes.
So what this says to me, all of that says to me, is that audiences are realizing, hey, I can't afford all these different streaming services, but I want to watch such and such. I'll just go to Best Buy and buy
because
such and such.
when it
Yeah.
costs, let's say, $15 to $20 for HBO Max, when you can just buy the season of Doctor Who for about the same price and have it
And
forever.
I have
Not
forever.
even, and honestly, not even that. Like, you don't even have to go all the way up to Blu-ray or DVD. I recommend it, but you don't have to. I've been like, because I was talking to Michael Carls from Downright Nerdy, shout outs to them, and when The Office was announced, it was being pulled, and I was like, sorry, bud, and he's like, yeah, I guess we'll just have to get the other, and I'm like, buy it on DVD, buy it on Blu-ray, or buy the seasons on
iTunes
Amazon
or
Prime.
something, yeah.
Yeah, just buy them and own them. Just then you never have to do this again.
Yeah.
Ever.
I,
You
I
have
was
it.
I was talking to Zara, like, we really like Gilmore Girls. Once HBO Max comes up, it's Warner Brothers. That show's leaving Netflix.
Oh my god, really?
So I'm just like,
Wasn't that a new season for Netflix too?
I think that season will stay on Netflix, much like we'll see with like the,
That's super
That's
confusing.
super dumb.
well, because we've seen it before. Like Daredevil is not going to go to Disney Plus or Hulu.
So for a few years.
But what I
Yeah.
mean is the original show won't be there, but the sequel show will.
Yeah.
That's, to me, like, if you don't know anything about Gilmore Girls, that's weird.
I mean, Samurai Jack season 1 through 4 is available on Hulu, but not season 5.
But that's not. But it's not only season 5 on there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You have the finale of a show and not the first 4 seasons.
Yeah, that's a
That's
little weird.
stupid. And I get again for reasoning, but like that's not good for your audience.
So it's probably because when licensing issues are done, we can figure it out. But like, so I was telling her, I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to buy HBO Max. Just buy Gilmore Girls.
Just buy Gilmore Girls, yeah.
Like it'll be cheaper in the long run.
Yeah,
to
instead
just
of spending $20 a
just have
month.
Gilmore Girls.
Yeah. And for certain shows, like for me, I don't necessarily need to buy a lot of physical media. One, because Sparks owns a lot of it, but two, like the streaming services I have the shows I want. But we are getting to the point where HBO Max, like I that's how I watched all of Doctor Who, all of Luther, all of Sherlock, all that stuff was on Netflix.
And all now with HBO Max, we talked about it in the first announcement, but now, especially now, Netflix is going to be a shell.
It's going to be trouble, dude.
It's going to be a shell of what it used to be.
Marvel's gone. BBC's gone. Half of the original programming
Disney,
sucks.
BBC, HBO,
Disney,
Warner Brothers.
altogether.
And once NBC launches theirs, like what else is left?
What's crazy to me is also Netflix has had this, like, it's had the empire for like 15 years, but it's bankrupt.
Yeah.
So all of it was for nothing almost.
Yeah.
Like it set the precedent for the future, but they didn't prosper from it. How sad is that?
All they were able to show is that
It's possible.
it's possible.
Yeah.
So why not just cut out the middleman?
They didn't future-proof it like a Disney would or
Yeah.
something. It's kind of tragic.
All Disney had to all it took was Disney to be like, well, we could pay Netflix or we could make our own
for $7, half the price.
There you go. That's all it took.
That's super interesting. What an interesting time, man.
Yeah.
For everyone.
This new age of streaming is actually going to be, in the long run, pretty bad for consumers, and I'm
Gonna be bloody.
kind of interesting to see where it's going to go.
It's definitely interesting to look at from down here.
Yeah.
Seeing all these businessmen being like, man, what the hell do we do for the future, man?
Yeah.
Technology.
I mean, it's like we said. Eventually, it becomes streaming packages
Streaming
instead
packages.
of channel packages like you used to have for cable and,
Yeah.
and all
Well,
that.
is
It'll become
HBO
streaming
Max
packages.
like the first really big one? Because like it's a bunch of different ones, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be. But yeah, I'm now more than ever very happy I have all the DVDs I have.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
feel
I'm
ya.
sure you are too, Sparks.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm never unhappy about it.
Yeah.
I'm never unhappy.
Whenever
about
I
it.
move, I'm just kind of like, why do I have all this shit?
See, the whole
That's
thing
the
is that
only time.
I'd know that, like, oh, I'm never going to touch HBO Max. I'd know that, except that they're making original stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Yo, man, that Dune show's
I'm like,
gonna be on there.
I'd pay you
Shit.
$2 a month if you would only give me access to the original stuff.
Yeah.
I don't need
There's
your
an
whole
idea.
library.
There's an
I don't
idea.
need your whole library.
HBO Classic.
I'll pay you $2 a month to watch Dune. How about that?
There was also that's actually not a bad idea.
Oh
guys,
my god, that's
take
the
notes.
worst future. No, every show is
No. I mean $2 for all your original stuff.
Okay, yeah.
None of your backlog of the other stuff you happen to own.
No, I gotcha.
Everything you make specifically for that streaming service.
Yeah.
have like
It's not
cheaper
a bad
categories for less stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd do it. I'd do 2 to 3 for a month if it meant I only have access to the original content. I don't have to spend the $20 a month for the entire library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
Although, or you could just be Disney and do $6 and I get everything.
Yeah, seriously.
That's the dream.
I love you, Disney.
Yeah, we don't know what HBO Max is going to do, but honestly, like, I'm kind of the Doctor Who was kind of, you know, what I was thinking about the other day. I was honestly considering sitting down and watching the Peter Capaldi years, going back through it and going through, and I was just like, you know what? I think I'm okay with being done with Doctor Who.
Oh no.
Like, I think I kind of had this feeling where I was like, you know, for me, I think Doctor Who peaked, and I'm happy that I'm happy to rewatch the David Tennant years, to rewatch the Crystal Eccleston years. I'll revisit some of the Matt Smith years, maybe. But you know,
maybe.
I don't know if I need Doctor Who back in my life.
I know what you mean.
I think I'm pretty happy with where.
I will say there was a period where we were watching it, and we did some of the. Did we do
Yep.
some of the Jodie Whittaker stuff?
No, we were watching the last of the Capaldi to get
That's
to the
right.
Whittaker.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, I was very much enjoying that stuff.
Oh yeah, I am
That's not
too.
to say I didn't enjoy
No,
a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of what I watched. Because I did, like I watched a couple of Peter Capaldi's. I watched the whole first season of Peter Capaldi. And I even watched his last episode, which I actually really enjoyed.
Mhm.
But like there was a moment where I was just looking at it, where I was just like, I'd rather just rewatch The End of Time.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been seeing some
Fathom event in theaters this month.
Yeah.
That's where this thought came from. I saw
Very
that,
interesting,
and I was
yeah.
just like, shit, I want to watch The End of Time again. That episodes were good. Some good shit. there.
I can't disagree with you because I haven't gone back and watched it.
Yeah.
Like since and I haven't finished new stuff.
And like it occurred to me, I don't miss it.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I also binge watched a lot of it all at once.
Yeah.
So I think I had my moment, and like I'm sure I'll come back to it.
Yeah.
But
I'll definitely be going back.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where
there's
also
too much to watch. Also,
you
Always.
also step away from something and you kind of get sucked out, and then this happens with all things.
Entertainment.
This happens with Godzilla. Like, I'm not always 100% in Godzilla, and then sometimes I'll just suddenly be like all about Godzilla for like a solid month.
Dragon Ball Z recently happened to me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like I'm sure Doctor
That's
Who
from
will
the X-Men
hit
right now.
its same recurrent trend where I'm like, oh no, I want to dive all the way back in. Let's go.
Yeah.
like there'll be like a special guest appearance. You're like, holy shit, we have to watch that.
David Bradley comes back, and I'll be like, yes, more David Bradley as the first Doctor.
I'm the Doctor again.
All right, so Venom 2 apparently might have a director.
Yeah.
So Andy Serkis.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say something about the streaming stuff before we left it.
Yeah.
I think it wouldn't surprise me if the way that Disney and Hulu are kind of going to be partnered, I know they're owned by the same company, so that makes it easier, or mostly going to be owned by the same company. It wouldn't surprise me if NBC Universal, just teams with Netflix.
Oh yeah.
Just becomes its own package deal.
Where's that?
That's the way they have
Where's that
competition.
Fast and Furious animated show going to?
Netflix.
Because
might be right.
it makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
They got Jurassic Park 2. All the other DreamWorks shows that are Universal owned are on Netflix.
That's a good thought. Sparks.
Except for Kung Fu Panda for some reason.
I said Kung Pao. Oops.
Kung Fu Panda for some reason.
Yeah. No, I think that's probably the future, because I don't think Universal is strong enough to compete against the others on its own anyway, and now Netflix won't be either. So, but if together they hold at least a spot.
I had actually a similar thought talking to a friend of mine at work.
Yeah. I think that's probably the future, because you were saying like what happens with Netflix. It's probably that they probably team with Universal.
Right. All right, so Venom 2, Andy Serkis is definitely in talks to direct. No contracts have been signed, according to him specifically.
God, if Netflix becomes the exclusive streaming home of the Fast and Furious films, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Tom
Hardy.
I went through all the Toms in my head. Tom Hardy posted on Instagram a little prematurely, and immediately deleted it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Andy Serkis confirmed he is in talks with Sony, but no contracts have been signed.
I didn't watch Mowgli. So his directing...
We walked outside the premiere of it.
We did walk outside the premiere of it. We didn't say hi to Andy. We were too busy.
No.
Had to go see
Had
Avengers.
important things to do.
Had to go see Infinity War again.
Had to go see Joe and Anthony Russo.
Yes, that's true. We had an important meeting. I forgot what I was talking about. I got lost in the train of thought.
You didn't see Mowgli.
Sorry. Yeah. So I don't know his directing chops, but I know like special effects are his jam. So the type of guy he is and like the movies he does, this gives me any kind of positivity for the sequel, because I did not like Venom. It's one of the movies I actually like. Yeah, I don't like that movie. The more I think about it, I can be negative on that. It gives me some positivity, but again, like I don't want to see Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy. I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see it either.
I don't want to see that.
I don't want to go.
There will be carnage.
This is like objectively, it's good news. Like Andy Serkis being the director is objectively good news.
Yes.
I don't want it to be true, because I don't want to have a reason to go see that movie because I didn't like Venom and I don't need to see the sequel. For any reason.
You don't want to not support Andy Serkis.
There's no reason I currently have to go see that movie. If you make Andy Serkis the director, I'm going to feel like I have to, and I don't want to feel like I have to.
Okay, will you see this movie if they put Noel, the Oblivion King, in there from the Venom run?
No,
I'd be
because I know it's going to be bad.
I'd be really pissed.
I would too, but I'm saying if you see a giant symbiote dragon,
if it looks like a piece of trash flying in the
Andy
wind,
Serkis.
then it doesn't matter.
I know. I'm just thinking like, what could they do to possibly like make me hate this movie, but I have to see it? Like, man, yeah,
it's that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Nope.
All right.
I stand by nope. I'd prefer Andy Serkis not be part of it. And honestly, I want Tom Hardy to get as far away from it as possible, because I'm starting to like him less just for being attached and being positive about it.
Yeah.
I kind of, honestly, like Tom Hardy and Channing Tatum occupy a similar space in my mind, which is I barely ever think about them.
See, Tom Hardy, yes. Channing Tatum is my boy. Channing Tatum is a gem. He's a funny man.
Channing Tatum deserves more than he's gotten in the past few years.
Should have been Gambit 15 years ago. He's been trying so hard.
I know.
He was in a picture with the X-Men, you guys. They put him in a picture.
Hey, do you remember you and I got into a thing this week over on Twitter with someone who was like, Dark Phoenix should be on DVD by now.
Well, also I think because they were in a different region.
I think so. As soon as I realized they were from the UK, I'm like, okay, maybe. This person was saying that Dark Phoenix should be on DVD by now, and Disney doesn't want to release it on DVD because they want to bury the movie.
And also things and like when Endgame was coming out, like they deliberately like mismarketed Dark Phoenix because Endgame was coming out. Disney wanted to bury it. I'm like, no, the movie was bad. Nobody cared about it. Then I was like, I was actually positive on the movie, but I promise you, like they didn't care about it. The people who made it like shit it out. Like,
yeah,
it's not Marvel's fault.
And they were just like, well, Avengers Endgame is already out on digital. Endgame is out on digital, and also Endgame being out on digital, just coming out, is proof that Dark Phoenix wouldn't come out for weeks.
Because it came out after, yeah.
Right.
And
but it was also a region thing. And then
it was a region thing, but it's just for anybody who cares. In America, a DVD release is, on average, 17 weeks after its theatrical debut. Endgame is coming out 16 weeks after its theatrical. Dark Phoenix is coming out 14 weeks, so early. And Godzilla is coming out 12.
Yeah, like about 4 months, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the rule of thumb. So if you ever think your DVDs are coming out early, they're actually all coming out around the same time.
Man, sometimes it takes
except Christmas movies. Christmas movies come out 1 year later.
Yes. Jesus. I always think about that.
Yes.
Again, it's The Grinch. I waited The Grinch an entire year to get that movie on.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
All right. Anyway. Some trailers.
Lots of trailer babies. Trailer babies.
Dark Phoenix is going to have a gorgeous steelbook. I'm real jealous.
Is.
Yeah. Have you seen that steelbook? It's pretty.
Saw it, yeah. Gemini Man was actually a trailer from last week, but we missed it. I really like this trailer.
I do too.
I was kind of into
What's
this.
up, Sparks?
No, I don't dislike it. I'm no more sold on this than I was the first time out. Which I was.
Yeah.
Nothing in this made me more sold. I was just like, cool.
I got way more.
I'm already there.
Will Smith emoting than I expected for what this movie. I thought what this movie was.
Sure.
And this is my daily. I get to say this looks so much like Metal Gear. I can't effing believe it.
Yeah.
But like, there's so much emotion behind like this movie about like cloning military people, and I'm like, it's right up my alley.
Will Smith is doing his Will Smith thing, and I'm here for Will Smith all the time.
I am also just I was already really optimistic from the first one about Will Smith, so I'm like, I'm happy. Will Smith's in a movie, so I don't care.
And I want to give Ang Lee more like he should direct more movies. That dude's awesome.
He should.
That's great.
I am happy that it looks like Mary Elizabeth Winstead is in this more than I was nervous she would be, so I'm glad that she looks like she'll be present, and Benedict Wong. I'm not vibing the bad guy.
Clive Owen.
Yeah.
He gives me the same vibe that he got in Valerian, which is just like a generic bad guy.
Right, and
he wasn't good in Valerian.
Yeah, I'm not vibing him.
Same. I think he's probably going to be the weak link, and he like doesn't even speak in this trailer.
So
I'm like, that's a bad sign.
That's what bums me out.
Same.
Is that I'm just not. I'm not with that. And everything else I'm liking, and I'm like, man, I wish there was a bad guy that I was like, hell yeah, because like in comparison, we're going to talk about it on our review special, but Hobbs and Shaw, like Idris Elba, man, got me lit, super excited for that when the trailers were dropping, not excited about this right now, villain-wise.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So, how do you guys feel about the writer being David Benioff?
I have no problem with that.
I have no opinion. I was just actually just curious.
I don't have a problem. The dude has great ideas. I mean, like he also wrote Troy, which I like, but he also wrote X-Men Origin. So like, not everyone. The guy who did Scary Movie did Chernobyl. So like, I can't hate him.
This is based off a book. This movie's been trying to be made
for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about this.
Are we going to talk about the weird Fresh Prince opening to the trailer?
Yeah, that was really weird. So okay,
that's not in theaters.
When I saw this trailer for the first time, I did not see that. So whatever the hell
that's for like an online only thing, I think.
Was just Will Smith talking about really good looking young Will Smith,
like Fresh Prince Will Smith.
Yeah,
being filmed like it was filmed during Fresh Prince,
1989. Yeah,
saying like, "Hey man, just go to LA to make."
If I could say one message to the future, it'd be this: go see that Gemini Man trailer.
I'm in that movie 30 years from now,
and
maybe.
It's like, wow, what?
Yeah, I thought. To be fair, I thought we were watching an old Will Smith thing.
I did until a certain point.
Until they said Gemini Man.
And I'm like, this is real pandering. Well, I could even believe that because of how long the movie's been in development. He's like, if it had been like a clip where it's like, man, one day I'm going to be in Gemini Man. And I'm like, I could buy it, but it's like so distinct to like go see that trailer online.
I feel like it was
not a term you would have used in that time period.
It was like, we spent all this money on this proof of concept. We have to put it in a trailer.
Sure. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, that was really strange. I'm sold on this movie. I can't wait.
I am sold. I just a little disappointed with Clive Owen.
Same.
Sure. The Hunt. This is Blumhouse's new film. This is where a bunch of rich people hunt a bunch of not rich people.
Yeah, it's like, what can we do after the purge?
This is like the serious Ready or Not.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm way excited for Ready or
Yeah,
Not.
me too.
Same.
Yeah, this looks cool. Good for
It's got
Justin.
a great cast.
Good
I'll
for
tell you
Justin
that.
Hartley.
Yeah.
Justin Hartley's in
Uh,
this.
I'm glad for him.
The guy.
Emma Roberts.
The guy. What's the guy's name from Seth Rogen's friend from?
Oh boy,
I forgot the guy's name.
I already forgot half the people except Emma Roberts.
It's been in a lot of movies.
I know who
Okay.
you're talking about, but I can't place his
Yeah.
name.
This trailer. Is Josh Gad in this one? Or is that
No,
his
that's
trailer?
the
next
Little
one.
Monsters.
Okay, I'm already forgetting. Mixing them up.
The hunt. I hope that it's not as shallow as the trailer. Like, it looks cool.
Yeah.
But I hope there's more to it than what I'm already seeing.
Here's the thing: the first movie is going to be bad, and then it's going to make a bunch of sequels and have a great TV show.
No,
Like
I
The
don't need a
Purge.
Purge franchise
It's
out
just
of
been
this.
No, I know.
The concept, honestly, the concept would almost work better if it just was in the Purge world.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, yeah, we like to just, we're so rich, we just want to purge all the time.
Yeah, we can afford it.
And we can afford to do it, so here it is. And
What
you
if that
already
is the
live in the
twist,
Purge world.
and we don't even know it yet?
Okay, so like, yes, that's what I'm saying. If that was
Yeah,
something like
baby.
that, I'd be like, hell yeah, I'm into this movie. But at the surface level right now, I'm like, it's cool. I'll certainly watch it. It's not something I feel like I
It
gotta
does
see
seem
right
shallow.
away.
Yeah,
It doesn't feel very like a lot of meat to it.
yeah, I agree.
Then let's go to Little Monsters.
Woo, boy.
I heard about this movie a while ago. I heard about it when they were casting, when they were
had
filming it.
never heard about this
Yeah,
movie.
I'm very excited.
I saw a
It's on there.
poster, and like I even asked you about it, Sparks, like only a week ago. And I
Yeah.
was like, didn't know this was a thing, and then the trailer came out.
I heard about it. I only heard about it so specifically because I was hearing about casting notices that were happening for a lot of kids. And they were
Lot of
casting.
kids.
They were casting notices. They're saying Lupita Nyong'o and Josh Gad in a new zombie film.
Zombie comedy.
And I was like, okay, neat. And then this is it.
So this is a world where monsters exist because they're talking about zombies and they're like, oh, they're fast zombies or slow zombies. So this is something that everyone's used to.
Right.
And Lupita Nyong'o is like a teacher or something, and she's taking these kids on a trip, and then a zombie outbreak happens.
Well, it looks like Lupita Nyong'o doesn't know. She tells the kids no zombies don't exist.
Well, I think that's just for their imagination to help her.
Well, no. So what I wonder is maybe the military knows that zombies exist and
Oh.
have been dealing with this.
And like they're trying to cover it up.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense too. Yeah.
I think that they do know zombies exist, but like we're at the tail end, and they're trying to finish it, and then a zombie outbreak happened in an area it's not supposed to. But I think she does know.
Okay.
I think she's trying to raise kids in a world that doesn't have zombies because they were almost out of that.
This is like the first generation.
Yeah, like the first generation post zombiedom, and yet an outbreak happens. And it's like, oh crap.
There's a scene where Josh Gad.
Because I don't feel like Josh Gad or the other adults are unfamiliar.
Yeah.
With zombies. As a
Josh
concept
Gad
either.
bites a little zombie child and says, "How do you like it?" And then he's like, "Oh my god, what have I done? What have I become?" That made me laugh. That was good.
Yeah, I thought there's a lot of really good stuff. Reminded me a lot of Anniversary of the Apocalypse.
Yes,
I just got into a jam fight.
it's all covered in blood. Yeah, this looks a lot of fun.
I still haven't seen Anna in the Apocalypse, but sure.
What I really
We
like
should watch
about
it.
what I really like about the Apocalypse and this, it's we're now so far into the zombie genre that we can do some crazy shit with it,
We can diverge. Yeah,
and I'm really excited that this is just continuing that trend.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks really good.
So I'm stoked for this. The Lighthouse.
Yes,
This is
I'm not entirely sure what this movie's about, but
This
I
is
love
Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe's film from A24.
it. Robert Eggers, who directed The Witch or The Witch,
Yes.
however you want to call it.
They didn't care unless they just
They
said the
call it
witch.
The Witch. The what?
The Vitch.
The Witch. Yes.
I prefer the Vitch.
I also prefer The Witch. This is a black and white psychological horror story, maybe Lovecraftian,
It
like with
looks-
fish people.
It looks super old Ingmar Bergman style film,
Mhm.
using old style special effects.
It looks really cheap, but like in the best way.
Yeah,
They're trying to go for
It is a
that.
deliberate style choice.
Yes.
And that honestly is what sells me the most.
It's
on this
about
film.
the acting. That's
Yeah.
like they're focusing on the people.
You never saw the Vitch, did
No.
you? Okay.
Boy.
The one thing I absolutely can tell you would appreciate about it is that the director clearly knows what he's doing with the camera. He knows what he wants to show you. He knows what the kind of story he wants to tell you. This is not dissimilar from how Ari Aster knows
I was gonna
exactly
say-
what he wants to do.
Yep.
They both work at A24, so that's not surprising.
Makes sense.
So this absolutely, like, he's got a vision, and you know it. That was clear with The Witch. It's clear here. So you're gonna get that vision. You're gonna get a very specific, like, I want to show it to you this way, and I'm
Yep.
very excited about that.
Same with the trailer.
But there are some powerhouse actors in this, so that's
But
awesome.
we don't know if the threat is supernatural or
Psychological.
and that's a really good place to be.
Yeah, I love it. And like he pulls out like a little what's like little mermaid charm.
Yeah.
There's scenes where he has like octopus wrapped around his neck.
Yes.
So like I am getting like very like
Lovecraft vibes.
Lovecraft like Dagon
For sure.
people who worship and like become fish people, like that kind of stuff. And like the end of the trailer is like, how long have you been here? 5 weeks, 2 days? Like the psychological horror is gonna be there. And I'm like, and it being black and white, like I'm so glad movies like this get to get made. Like A24 is really like maybe my favorite studio.
They really are.
This is going to sound really strange, but the style of the film actually reminds me a lot of Young Frankenstein.
No, I don't think that sounds strange at all.
No, yeah.
Okay, good.
Intentionally making it old, yeah.
Yeah, it is a specific style of old filmmaking. I mean, you look at the lightning, it looks like it's stop motion. You look at all the effects, it looks practically done.
Mm-hmm.
Like it looks like a film that was
all like
made.
natural lighting.
Yeah, it looks like a film that was made in the 50s or something.
I'm very happy about it.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. Much like, I mean, marketing gets you in its own ways, but like when the Witch was coming out, one of the quotes, the pull quotes for the trailer was saying, not the one that said like scariest movie you'll ever see, because that wasn't true, but the one that said the most atmospheric horror experience I've ever had. There's one quote in this trailer that says sledgehammer performances by Dafoe and Pattinson, and I'm like, sledgehammer performances, I am there.
There's some intensity there, baby.
So, what a choice of words. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all about these two actors just going nuts.
Hell yeah.
Go nuts on
Batman
a piece.
and Green Goblin. I love it.
Batman and Volko.
Oh, you're right, Volko.
Yeah.
Same universe. Much better.
The Irishman had a trailer.
Yeah, man. Martin Scorsese's making another gangster movie. I'm into it.
This is Netflix's film.
Their most expensive movie, maybe.
Netflix's Scorsese gangster movie that Scorsese only did with Netflix that they promised to put it in theaters.
Yeah. And they're like, yo, give me all the money so I can hire back Joe Pesci, who retired from acting.
Joe Pesci, De Niro, Pacino.
Yep.
Hey, guys, do you like Goodfellas?
Yes. Well, I do like Goodfellas.
Check this out. That's
Is
kind of what it
Ray
felt
Liotta
like.
in this? Did I see Ray Liotta?
I think Ray Liotta's in this.
I wouldn't be
he's
surprised.
a gangster. It's in the gangster movie. He's going to course he is.
Well,
Yeah.
so what's interesting about this is that Martin Scorsese basically said, you know what? I'm not going to hire Leo to be a gangster. I'm going to hire De Niro and make him look like he's young.
Yeah.
So that he can be a gangster again.
I like that. I think it's really cool that, you know, we always use this for like, you know, like Marvel movies or like big like Star Wars. Like it's not often you just see like this is a movie about regular people that gets to use this really expensive technology
budget. Yeah.
And instead of again hiring Leonardo DiCaprio to play a young Robert De Niro, you just have Robert De Niro be de-aged. I think that's super fun, and like Jimmy Hoffa is such an interesting story about this guy who like wanted to help out people and turned organized crime, and then he literally went missing and no one's ever found him. That is such a fascinating story to me, and I as a teenager I was fascinated with gangsters. I love all that shit. So I'm really excited that Martin
Who
Scorsese.
does gangster movies better than Scorsese?
Nope, nobody.
I can think.
I had to think about it more, but nobody.
Yeah, I can
Hell
think
yeah,
of
baby.
Yeah.
Scorsese is a director who may not always throw out solid films, but he is always a man at the top of his game.
Mm-hmm. I will defend Shutter Island.
I've not seen Shutter Island, so I'm not referring to Shutter Island. Actually,
You don't need to defend it to me. I enjoyed it.
Yes.
I wasn't crazy about Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay,
My
that's
thing.
fair. Yeah,
but he is a great director, and this is
a great actor's director.
A great actor's director.
Oh,
especially. This is a film directly in his wheelhouse, and he is using technology that he has never used before. And I was saying actually with Will Smith, you know, also this technology is looking really good.
Yeah.
I still think it looks a little strange when they're talking.
It's
That first pan around shot when it finished and we saw De Niro, he looked a little like a video game character.
his eyes were a little fake. Yeah.
The second shot when he's hanging up the phone, he looked better, but that first shot, I was like, that looks like a video game.
Do we have a release date? Is it
No,
later this year?
Because it's Netflix, they won't tell us.
Okay. I wouldn't. Doesn't that usually mean?
They said fall.
Okay.
Said fall.
So maybe the special effects aren't quite done.
I bet there's a theatrical release because you got to tell the theaters when they're getting it.
Yeah.
But I could look it up if you want.
Yeah. I'm just wondering. They're probably not done yet. Special
It's
effects.
probably not. But I don't think that this technology has ever gotten bad enough that it's taken me out of a movie.
Yeah. Same.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm still on board.
Yeah.
If it even looks as good as Michael Douglas did in Ant-Man, I'm in.
That looked good.
That looks good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for this.
As long as it looks as good as now, instead of like it looks like 2009 Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
Because going back to that, man, that's
that was
rubber.
pretty good at the time.
No, at the time, absolutely. But 10 years later, man, that is rubber.
Yeah.
When rubber meets the road.
All right, shall we move on?
Ooh.
That's it?
September 27th, 2019.
Oh, that's next month. Wow.
For a
release date.
theatrical release?
It says for the film festival, so it shouldn't be too long after that because they did say fall.
Yeah, that's true.
So it should be hitting theaters not too long after that.
Okay. All right.
Shall we get into our bread and butter?
Ooh, is
Nope, we're already there. Shall we get into
The-
our main topic?
it the boys' bread and butter? The boys' topic? The boys are back in town?
The boys are back in town,
Yes.
All right, then. Let's get into it. We have The Boys.
and
the boys.
we are talking about. We all watched the first 3 episodes of the Amazon Prime series.
Yes.
Not for lack of wanting to watch more, but there was other stuff going on this week, so we didn't get to more.
Yeah.
Because it's only 7 episodes, so easily
The 7.
can get through it again.
I'm actually glad we're all in the same episode because we.
That's
I am
really
as
not.
well.
It's really nice.
I am as well. I'm glad
Yeah.
that worked out. And we're talking about the very first volume of the comic series as well.
Now, I wanted to be clear. It's the first 6 issues, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because now the only thing that's available is that omnibus, and it's like 18 issues, and I'm like, I can't get through 18
No, yeah,
issues.
No, yeah, the first volume, 6 issues
Yeah.
of The Boys and the television show.
Just to get into it, I thought it was surprising. I was surprised at how different the book and the show were.
Yeah, it's different while still keeping the core tenets, which
Yeah.
is, again, everything I could possibly ask for with the
yeah,
comic adaptation.
Exactly. I was telling Ryan that this is exactly a good example of what we were talking about in our adaptation discussion, where it's keeping the spirit, but it's taking it in its own direction.
Deadly Class
and
Swamp Thing.
making its own thing. Deadly Class was far more faithful to the book.
It was, but the sister character is a brand new aspect which changed the show a lot.
Absolutely, it did. But like it was definitely like going for like some beat for beat
Yes,
stuff.
it was. I
Whereas
am the acid
this
king.
is very much like take all these characters, take all the concepts, take all the intent and the theme of the show, and repurpose it entirely, of the comic, and repurpose it entirely for the show.
Yeah.
Because like having now absorbed both, like I'll say right off the bat, I find the obviously I watched the show first, and I think that probably does matter. I watched the show first.
Yeah.
I found Robin's death far more brutal and impactful for me in the show than I did in the comic.
Yeah.
Though I still think the comic was really good.
I think it is also more intentional too, because they
absolutely.
want to make that more personal.
But the way, like, in kind of a comparison to Deadly Class, and this isn't a knock on anything, but just in kind of a comparison to Deadly Class recreates a lot of, like, specific moments from the comics. When we were watching the show, I was ready to read the comic and see the exact same thing of, like, the blood and everything. That's what I thought I was getting into.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not upset that wasn't the case. I much enjoyed the fact that it is different interpretations, but it's just a note about like the way that they went in a different direction and how well I think it works. I think the show creates such an effect with that. The comic came out
2006.
2006, like a long
when
time
I
ago.
read it,
The show's
I was 14.
the show demands a different kind of attention at this point. Just with the comic book making market, it has to grab you in a certain way.
The politics of the world are different now, and
For sure.
And the comic references a little bit of where the country was in 2006. The show can't do the same; it needs to update.
Yes.
Just going back to what you were saying about Robin's death in the show, in the comic. Sorry, I should say. In the comic, it almost feels like it's meant to be a little comedic how Robin dies. I know it's not. I know when we get into it as a whole, it's supposed to be traumatic, but it's just kind of like panel slam, like the way it's framed. It does.
I didn't read it as comedic.
It does read to me as supposed to be a little like holy shit, ha ha ha.
I don't think it's ha 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 at all. I think
what I will say, the tone that I think you're getting, I don't think it's necessarily comedic, but what I do think that the show captures. What the comic captures about that the show did differently is that the comic makes it feel far more everyday.
Yes.
Okay.
It makes it feel far more
the thing
casual.
I wish that the show did more, because in the comic they say there's over 200,000 superheroes. This happens all the time.
The show makes it feel more tragic.
Yes.
Like a personal tragedy.
Just finish my thought.
Sure.
Yeah.
I thought the show handles the death of Robin much better than it did in the comic. In the comic, it doesn't. I don't. The ha 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 is a little harsh for me to say. There is a specific moment when you see something. It's hard for me to explain this emotion without actually experiencing the emotion. It is a specific emotion that when you see something
horrific.
No, badass isn't the word either. It's something.
It's definitely not badass.
It's shocking. It's something. It's a reaction that's shocking, but. Badass is close to the feeling, but I don't mean to say it in a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way, like if you were watching The Hunt. Let's say you haven't seen The Hunt yet, but let's say you're watching The Hunt, and and someone blows off someone's head, and it. Oh, here it is. Ready or Not.
Mm-hmm.
In Ready or Not, when one of the servants dies, when one of the servants gets her head blown off,
Yes.
that feeling is what I feel like the comic was trying to portray.
Okay.
But the show portrayed it as a tragic moment.
Yes.
And I feel like the show worked better than the comic.
I definitely think because it is live action and everything, it is more emotionally impactful because it kind of does. You get to, even though you don't know her very well, you know Robin more in the show than you do in the comic.
Sure.
But again, it's only like 5 minutes, which is enough for us to make an emotional connection.
I think also part of it is that the comic is playing to an audience that reads comics.
Yes.
And they're trying to give you this idea of like, in this world, this is how these things go, and it's always like this. This is what happens. Whereas the show is trying to play to the audience that watches comic book shows and comic book films. And they need a more dramatic take to bring them into the show, to make them emotionally attached to it, and they also have to play it in a different way where it's like, oh no, this is how it goes. Even it has to, in a sense, be a little more brutal. That's both part of like the time period that we're in, but it's also a different audience of consumption.
Yeah.
Also, the which is understandable, but the comic is still way more graphic than the show. Billy Butcher is far more diabolical, as he likes to say. In the comic, then he's still a bad guy in the show, but like they do tone it down a little bit for the show, a little bit, just a little bit.
I won't. Again, we also
like, dude, the way
finished,
A-Train kills Robin in the comic, he doesn't give. It's like he wasn't hopped up on drugs, so there was an excuse. He doesn't care at all. He's like, do you guys have people to deal with this?
I was just gonna say, I don't know if the word graphic is the. I think there's a brutality in the comic that is far more present.
Brutality, sure. Yeah.
In
characters
and motivations and things, yes. I do think that like visually we are seeing some more graphic
visually,
stuff.
Yeah,
that's why I was.
But like
for
all of the 7 are heightened, I think, in the comic where they're toned down in. Because like the thing with Starlight, that only happens with 1 character instead of 3.
Yeah.
So
I actually I prefer I want to say Hyperion, Homelander. I prefer Homelander in the show than I do in the comic.
Yeah.
I like his portrayal a lot more in the show.
They are 2 different versions, but that are really great. I really love the Homelander show, but I personally like the oh, you think Superman's the best of them? No, he is actually the absolute worst.
Sure.
And they're 2 versions of the same coin.
We do get that in the show, but what I like about the show is that he is not quite prepared to admit to himself that he's bad. He's just kind of like, I'm just doing everything. He's a little he's just slightly unhinged instead of completely unhinged.
Yes,
and I prefer the slightly unhinged.
Oh yeah, again, and like both versions are great versions. I think you can't go wrong with either. Yeah,
for sure. I like the interpretation in the show for sure.
Again, like I think all the characterization is pretty on point for all the characters.
I'd agree. It's hard because there's definitely like characters we become more familiar with on the show that we haven't in the 6 issues of the comic.
Yeah.
So it's hard to make those comparisons.
If we'd watch one more episode, then we'd have the full team.
Yeah. I think it works, but I think the most divergent away from like who he is in the comic and then who he is on the show is probably Frenchie.
Frenchie, yeah. Frenchie's a psychopath in the comic. Man.
I think they 100% are different, and they both work.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
you know what? I think I like the aesthetic of the world in the show better than I do in the comic.
That's fair. Yeah,
the comic is very like heightened comic book. This is the Justice League at the time. If they were evil, then they got the satellites and they got the thing.
The first panel of the comics, them flying by, and Billy's like, "I'm gonna get you, you c-words."
Yeah.
But in the show, I'm very much interested in Vought and that tower and how the 7 are portrayed, with all the politics and all that sort of thing. I how the show is handling the story, I'm more invested in than I was in the comics.
It's also moving at a different pace than the comics because all the stuff that we're getting in the show is stuff that like kind of happens in the comics too. Yeah. We're not there yet.
It's also that the show brought you in at a different angle.
Yes.
You are brought in at the angle of Vought as the studio, as the corporation, and that's where you start, and then you go to Huey on the personal story, and then you meet the boys. And the comic did it in reverse.
Yeah.
You meet the boys, then you meet Huey, then you meet you see the Vought and the studio and the corporation. They did it in a reverse. Mm-hmm. But Huey's always middleman. Huey's always audience perspective middleman.
Yeah.
And it's super funny because the comic, it's based off Simon Pegg because like the artist was like, hey, if we ever...
Man, it's so clear too.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, if we ever make a show, we would love Simon Pegg. And then they make the show now. And it's literally minutes before Simon Pegg appears on screen. I was like, man, Simon Pegg...
Yeah.
If this was made earlier,
well,
it's a shame.
He was attached to the movie. When they were trying to make this
Oh,
movie
really?
years ago.
Years
he was
ago?
attached.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, shame Simon Pegg can't be here. Sits down on the couch. Hey, you son. I'm like, what the shit? It's it's a nice little nod. It's really
it
cool.
really is.
His
Those are
American
sweet.
accent throws me off.
It's bad. It's not. It's very Doctor Strange.
He almost slips out of it a couple of
Yeah.
times.
There's one line, where it's like, oh boy.
Which is make him British. He could have had a British dad.
Yeah, it doesn't really. Yeah, it doesn't.
His mom was American. He moved to
Yeah.
America when he was a kid.
Yeah.
He's an actor. He can stretch himself.
I
Let
think.
him stretch himself.
So the comic introduces Starlight later than the show, which I think.
Yeah, for sure.
The show, it's super great to have her start from the beginning because you get really attached to her.
She's arguably your other audience perspective for the show.
The
I love
superhero
press around
version.
her, and that's why we love you.
Yes.
But, also, I just want to say her new outfit in episode 3 is terrible. I get that's the point, but holy crap!
That's exactly the point. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Holy crap! It
Sells more costumes.
I kind of wish
More toys.
they did the moment from the comic. I like the way that the show presents it, but the fact that in the comic Highlander comes up and just draws where
See, that's what I-
it's
that's
gonna
what I
happen,
mean, like-
I really like.
Like, there's some they can't make the show completely like the comic because
No,
it's
no,
it
absolutely.
would be overwhelming in live action form. But yeah, having that thing where Homelander gets a Sharpie and this is what
and
we're
translated in the show. What I would have wanted it to be is the Deep,
Oh man,
because it has to be the person who most affronted her, and like in the show you translate as after the moment where she said, "I've heard about you. You're the lowest of the totem pole.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
don't mess with me." And then after that, he's like, "I came to them with this idea. So what I'm thinking is this," and then he draws on her. It's another shot back that she can't retaliate in
Yeah.
the room for. I kind of wish that kind of moment was there because I think that would add to the greasiness of the Deep, but also just the aggressiveness of the where she's at. That everybody in the room who's writing her checks is like, "Nope, yep, we agree."
Yeah. Elizabeth Shue is Stillwater, who has a different name from the comic, but it's the same character. She and Billy haven't met in the TV show, right? Not yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, so I'm curious if they're going to go with that angle still, of them being weird lovers that hate each other but love each other, because that's super weird
The
in the comic.
CIA director in the comic that we meet is the owner of Vought in the show.
We're talking about in the show Elizabeth Shue.
Which one's Elizabeth Shue?
She's the blonde woman.
She's the head of Vought. She's the head of Vought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the head of Vought.
Yeah.
That she's the CIA director in the comic?
Oh, I thought that was supposed to be the same character.
No,
I don't think so.
no, because
Oh.
she's the head of Vought
Yeah.
on the show.
I thought they repurposed.
No,
okay.
I don't
Then
think so.
Never mind.
Yeah,
Skip that.
they're totally different interpretations.
Okay.
I think the character that Elizabeth Shue is playing is a man. In a brief clip we see in the comic of one dude who's representing Vought.
Yeah.
I think that's him, and they're the same person.
Gotcha.
I like how in the comic that it's not a CIA directive; it's just them deciding to do this. That's more of just a storytelling choice that I prefer in my stories.
Yeah.
It works in a comic, but I think in the show it works a lot better as they're all coming together and deciding we're going to screw these guys up.
Yeah, we all have to work together. Yeah.
Yeah.
The translucent is a new element in here
That I liked a lot.
that I really liked a lot.
Yeah.
What an asshole. This is that's the type of that dude is the most irreprehensible. He's always around naked, just watching people do things. He's so gross.
and he has to be naked or else he can't.
Yeah,
be
that's a really
visible.
fun touch.
Yeah, I like Translucent a lot. I thought that was fun.
Do you know what the show feels a lot like a show that is catering to an audience that they know has seen or at least is aware of Watchmen?
Yeah.
That the comic
Oh,
audience
yeah.
was not going for.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
This is a much lighter
aesthetically,
version.
it's going for that. It's we know you've seen Watchmen. You've seen bad superheroes or complicated or
Never like
greasy
this,
or
baby.
dirty.
Oh yeah.
This is that notched up.
So a couple of things I like in the show a lot is that I like how they interpret Popclaw.
Popclaw's great.
I think it's interesting how they interpret it, how they repurpose Compound V
Mm-hmm.
as a just a steroid drug. They
Cocaine for the superheroes.
Cocaine
Yeah.
for superheroes. I thought that was really interesting. In the comic, I was kind of happy to see that there were the equivalent of Young Justice and Teen Titans.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. The comic lasts 72 issues, and there's multiple mini series and stuff. But again, 200,000 superheroes. There are so many teams and so many things that
Got that orgy that the equivalent of Teen Titans were doing was insane.
There's an entire event called Herogasm, and it is a yearly event where all the superheroes get together and they have this giant party where they go buck wild.
Where it's an orgy.
It's a literal 100-person orgy.
Yeah, and they've said that the Eric Kripke, who's one of the showrunners for the show, he said, "Oh yeah, season 3, Hero-gasm.
I mean, it's already renewed for season 2. Thank God.
Yeah.
Everything else that I love is canceled, so something luckily survives.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Amazon looked at the cancellations like, we're just going to renew this.
Yeah.
If they make it to season 3, we're getting Hero-gasm apparently. So
God.
Yeah. Man, let me tell you, Carl Urban is so effing good. Everyone is in this show is great, but like Carl Urban never really gets to be unhinged. And like it's really cool to see him just like swear it up, just like be this ass, but like this lovable ass. He's so good. Like it's so nice for him to have like a
really
leading.
like Carl Urban in
Yeah,
this show.
it's so nice for him to have a leading role in something.
for sure.
And like that's successful.
And one of the things I really like is I think he and Billy Butcher in the comic are so close that when I was reading the comic, I heard it in
I did
Carl
too.
Urban's
100%.
voice.
Yeah.
And
100%. Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was really
And Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan's son.
Jackson.
Jackson.
Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid, who at times looks like both his parents, depending on the angle. He's really good too.
Yeah.
And the scene, like the scene that I was really most looking forward to is like the lawyer scene,
Uh-huh.
where like in the comic it's just a bunch of bubbles, like, oh, we're so sorry for your loss, blah 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 blah. You guys weren't married, like all this stuff, and like the lawyer thing in the show translated very well.
Yeah.
Just like the sleazy lawyer who obviously doesn't care, but like you need to get this thing signed, my
I
man.
really like how they handle his anxiety about A-Train.
Mhm.
I think that's really well framed.
Yes.
When he walks in, when they're in the 7 room, and he walks in and he's covered in blood.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some
So
good
good.
shit.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. A-Train. Oh man, can't stop the A-Train, baby.
I like that A-Train is
Oh, and when he's in the convenience store and A-Train's on all of the
everything.
products.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
I like how they do A-Train in the show a lot.
Yeah.
I'm really into that.
I
portrayal.
can't draw much of a comparison because I feel like we've spent very little time with most of the 7. To
See,
be
that's
honest,
the 7 are
in
the
comics.
are the big bads of the
Yeah,
comics,
yeah.
so you can't fight them immediately.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which is again what I'm wondering, like the trajectory of the show, because like we got one character, we got Popclaw from the Teenage Kicks, right?
Yeah.
Is he's saying going to season 3, so clearly they want to
Killed
show.
someone with her ass.
Oh, man, what a scene!
And her thighs.
What a scene! So like,
Let's be fair.
I'm wondering like
God.
how
Some quivering thighs there. That's what happened.
well, she was on Compound V when she was getting.
She
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
That's when she
Compound-
lost control.
Compound V.
Yep.
Gina. Sorry, couldn't do it. Something about the trajectory. I forgot where I was going. It's okay.
Oh, sorry.
The trajectory of the show, because it's got all the issues. They want to go to Hero-gasm, teen kicks.
Yeah, so like I'm just curious, like how much of the of the comic they're going to follow, because like there's things that they've introduced that they've not introduced in the comic, and vice versa. They talk about the legend. I think they talk about the legend in the comic, who is like the guy who writes all the comic books that these heroes are based on, and he writes the fake history that everyone believes about these superheroes.
we
that-
haven't heard that.
No, we
yet.
haven't gotten
Okay.
to that.
But we have heard.
Billy
that
Butcher mentions the legend like once.
Billy
in the
Butcher
comic.
says that the compound V is how they all get their powers.
Yes.
In the comic, is that how they all get their powers, and all the stuff that we know about them, like atomic bombs, that's all bullshit.
Yes.
He does say that, yeah.
So that's the only mention we get so far.
Okay.
We've gotten so far in the comics. In the show, Compound V is just a drug.
Yes.
In the show, we're also getting a little bit of a hint that Homelander and Billy Butcher have had history, but nothing overt yet.
To
that's
be
in the
fair,
comic
we
too.
don't know that Compound V is just a drug. We just know that it's being used like that.
That's true.
We don't know that's all it is.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And Billy Butcher doesn't know what Compound V is in the show yet.
There is a mention of somebody, a soup killed Butcher's wife in the comic. So
Yes.
there is a parallel between
No, so,
in the comic, a super raped
sorry,
his wife.
That's what it is.
And
yes.
she gave birth to a superpowered baby.
Yes.
And that
and couldn't handle it.
killed her.
Yes.
And he also had to kill the baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's real sad.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was rough.
I don't know if that we'll get that same backstory in the show.
No.
I if they're doing Hero-gasm,
I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
You might as well.
It's not even just because it's so brutal. I
Yeah.
just think it might be reinterpreted.
And now
Yeah.
there are things, I didn't read the article because I didn't want to be spoiled, but there are apparently things that Amazon has asked them to take out because they're
I did
too
see
much.
that. Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know what those are because I didn't read the article, but so I wonder like how much of. I wonder how far Amazon is willing to let the boys go. Because that comic is unhinged. It
Yeah.
goes as far as it can. And by the way, it was a DC comic when it first came out. Wildstorm.
Oh yeah.
The comic, in some ways, at some points, feels a little too immature for me.
I
Just
felt the
a
same way.
few times.
I felt
That's fair.
An example would be like the aggressive having terror his dog molesting and raping the other dog.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. I mean, like I know what this comic is, but damn.
There are times with the comics.
This is a
I
lot.
think that's because you really love dogs.
No, I mean, like,
No,
that's just a strong
yeah.
example of, like, this is a representation of an immature tone that is seeded throughout the comic
Yeah.
that, like, sometimes really works for me, and sometimes it doesn't.
That's fair.
And that was one where it just doesn't.
The comic often, not often, I guess we only read the 6 issues, but there are times where the comic just kind of feels like Garth Ennis.
Mark Waid.
Mm-hmm. What's the term? Immature is a good way to put it, but
No, that is very much like the late '90s. He did Preacher.
Yeah.
If you guys have read Preacher,
Oh, yeah.
it reads the
No,
same way.
yeah. I've read Preacher too, and it's
That's his style. It is immature at times, absolutely.
for sure. But I mean, like, there's just long stints of it where I feel like this I don't need. This I don't need.
Yeah.
In Preacher, I feel like there's a balance to it that works. That balance isn't as present for me in The Boys.
That's fair.
From what I read so far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
You
all.
know, and
It's
it only
a-
gets more graphic and more crazy.
It's not a graphics thing. It's a balance of tone and how you balance that with your characters. Preacher does this really well, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Preacher has these sincere emotional beats with the characters that balance out the, like, immaturity that I would say is represented sometimes in characters that deserve it, and sometimes just in like weird quirky violence or things like that. The Boys, just in these 6 issues, has these moments where I feel that it's just like, oh, this is a turn I don't need, maybe with a character even necessarily that I didn't want to see this emotional beat with, because having just a balance of these characters who aren't as deep in the filth helps.
It just kind of felt like sometimes it would get to the point where it's just for shock value.
Sure.
Where it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, I can do this, so I'm going to. And I'm going to do it because it's going to shock you.
Yeah.
And I kind of, there's not a lot of that, but I kind of wish what little of it wasn't present.
Yeah, and you guys are 100% right. This came out in 2006 when we weren't as politically correct in a lot of ways.
For sure.
So like, I can't argue with that. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't make it so I don't like the book. It's just like, if I had a knock against it, it would be that. Like, otherwise I enjoy the comic a lot. I just feel like there are moments where, oh, that's more than I need. And I didn't feel this as much when I read Preacher.
There's a maturity to the show that allows me to want to keep going with it. But because of the immaturity in the comic, I don't know if I will revisit it.
And again, it only gets worse in every way for many. Like, if you like that dog stuff, like, it doesn't get any better. So like, it is meant to offend, like, and all that stuff. And again, this is not me attacking you guys. Like, your guys like to feel the way. Like, for me, Garth Ennis is he's the only person who really writes comics like this. We don't get a lot of comics like this because not everyone is good at it.
Sure.
And at times it is too much for even me. Not this first 6 volumes or 6 issues. Not too much. Issues 50, 60, 70. Holy shit! What's going on?
No, I can imagine, and again, it's not like the grossness or the brutality or everything. It's just like there is a way to
For you, there's a line, yeah.
No. There's a way to ebb and flow this.
Yeah.
When you have it, when you don't, and just in these early issues, I felt like that balance was a little off for me. It's not that there's a line of like what I can tolerate, what I can't accept.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's that I prefer when I'm not getting it too often. When there's here it is, and then we come down from it, and then we come back up to it, and all that. And this just felt like there were a lot of moments where it peaked up, and then it also bounced down to a mid-level, but still kept it rather than like receding entirely. And that's what I'm talking about. Is just I prefer when the tone isn't 100% at that level.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
Totally fair.
I agree with that.
Which is, again, like going back, because I do like Ennis, and I do really like Preacher.
Yeah.
Preacher, I feel like, has that flow.
Yeah.
And this I just didn't feel like did,
He's writing
and that
Crossed.
threw me off.
He's writing Crossed right now, right?
I'm not reading it if he is.
I don't remember if he's currently writing it. Or if
He was
ever-
doing. I don't know actually.
Yeah.
I haven't kept up with Wellstrom since the
Crossed
relaunch.
is very much gross humor,
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
immaturity.
Yeah, I mean, like I know what I'm going into. Like it's not. Yeah, I think I made it pretty clear with that last one.
totally good.
But I like the comic. I do like the setup. I again, like, it's very obvious, both by time period and just who the audience is supposed to be. Like the differences between the comic and the show, and I think they both work in their own way and speak with their own voice in a sense.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the comic. I also really enjoyed the show.
Yeah. I I love the show. Man.
The show absolutely feels more like a targeted satire on today's comic media culture, whereas the 2006 one now feels a little bit dated in a way, and that's okay
because it was talking about the time of 2006.
Absolutely,
so it's
absolutely 100%.
Yeah. I think the show benefits from not having Garth Ennis as the main creative voice. It is Seth Rogen and whoever's writing partner
Eric Kripke.
and Eric Kripke. Then they're all working together to kind of make the show. And Garth Ennis is there to make sure it keeps the spirit of the show, and I think that helps a lot.
That it feels like it has its balance,
and and at the end of the day, that's all I wanted. Like
for sure,
not so like it still has the same vision of what that comic is. Yeah.
You and I both loved it. I know it. The moment that it started, and it did the parody on the studio opening with Vought.
Oh yeah,
that was like a play on DC's opening and everything with the heroes and the Seven.
Like
I was like,
this
is where we are. Awesome.
Yeah,
that was a great play.
I love the Shockwave A-Train race. I like it's like the Superman Flash race. I love that so much.
I love something that the show really captures that I really love that. I don't know if the comic will, but it definitely didn't in the 6 issues, is the sense of this celebritydom of them, of this mass marketing product
literally
that they are.
Like the next volume.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But the show really nails that tone really well for me. This sense that like they're more than just the superheroes. They're a product. They're a marketable thing. They are the everything. They are the Apple iPod that you buy. Like that is them. They are on all your consumption.
Yes,
they're consumerism, megalomania.
They're pop figures.
Yeah,
And I don't know why that freaked me out, but I guess this is the first
knockoff pop figures.
There's been
Pork
pop
figures
in something I've seen.
Fakos.
Someone just had like an A-Train pop figure. I'm like, shit.
Of course they would. Yeah, I love it.
I really like Jack Quaid looking at his room, like the 7. There were comic books and there's figures and there's everything.
So Huey's less of a fan of supers in the comic and more a fan of aliens.
Yes.
Yeah, that's something that's kind of represented. That's just an interesting change.
Well, I think because again they're kind of scoping down the size of the superhero world
for sure.
So like
it works. It works really well to have him as this person who was a fan of the supers,
and then one killed his girlfriend.
It's very specifically a way to target today's audience, as we were saying, because like so many people. Avengers Endgame is the highest grossing film, without inflation of all time. So there you go. They're very specifically targeting an audience that like goes and sees these superhero films, watches the comic book television shows, isn't super familiar with the comics, but is vaguely familiar. That's who it's for, and you can feel that, and I thought that's well represented across the show.
And I love that the show is getting such good acclaim and stuff, because like it is one of the first times, like besides like Watchmen and how we feel about the movie, where superheroes are in this mature light, and they're treated with like, yo man, they could be real assholes, like real people, and like again, we have the MCU where they're all gods and heroes and super people, and I'm like, it's really nice to have them be jerk offs. Like you never see that, and it's a good version of that.
That kind of goes to a balance issue as well. I don't think something like The Boys or Deadpool even works in a world where those are the only adaptations.
Oh, for sure.
Of
like
course.
they're 100% made as satire.
Yeah,
in a way.
I think we are now at a place like The Boys. I don't think could have made in 2006.
No,
I think we are now in a place.
It wouldn't be the same version of this,
right? I think we are now in a place where these type of things, because Avengers Endgame is so big, because all these superheroes are so big, we are now in a place where the audience is looking for that counterbalance while also enjoying the flip side.
Like we still get our superhero show, but like not a normal superhero show.
The audiences these days, I think, want both.
Yeah.
And we're now in a place that studios can bring us both.
It's really cool that we can see the Invisible Man get blown up with C4 up his butt.
Oh my god, I love everything they did with him.
Yeah.
Like the whole sequence of capturing him and everything that happened, that was awesome.
Like they kept trying to kill him, but he has diamond skin, so they can't. They say try.
And just
everything.
the establishment of him hiding in the girls' bathroom all the time, and Queen Maeve, who's the Wonder Woman stand-in, knowing that he was there, and then that being revealed with Starlight, and he's like, oops,
yeah.
Jesus.
They had a similar scene in the comic in the show, I believe, where like Starlight attends the first meeting, and then like they talk about like dividends and points, and then Homelander's like, "Do you guys really want Starlight's first meeting to be about this bullshit?"
Right.
And he's trying to be like the big noble one.
Yeah.
He just like did this horrible thing to her, and I'm like, man, this is some like heinous shit.
He didn't
know, but
right.
like
the deep
the deep, yeah. But still, even in like the comic, like just like business as usual. Like once we enter the the table, we can't talk about outside stuff.
Yeah.
We're the seven. And I'm like, man, that is some like heady like you think you're this type of person when you're not kind of shit. I love it.
That's what I really like that unhinged characteristic of Homelander. His costume design is excellent.
All the costumes are pretty good.
Yeah, all the costumes are really good, but I really like his costume design.
Eagle shoulders.
Yeah, they really went very directly for a Wonder Woman narrative with Queen Maeve.
Oh yeah,
very clearly. Like her costume change from the comics is very, very strong. But I like it. I also really like. I just remembered that another part of the show opening isn't just the studios thing, but it's also two kids talking about who would beat up who.
Oh yeah,
they really know the audience that they're playing to, and I really like it.
That's true.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
The first supers we see are Homelander and Queen Maeve.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It was smart. It's a good play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we take a selfie with you, Homelander? Absolutely.
As the guy falls from the sky.
And they play with that for a while. Like, the comic doesn't give you very much time to even think anyone might be noble in it.
Yes.
I do like that the show gives you the idea, like, even Billy Butcher's like, nah, Homelander, he's a freaking saint.
Yeah, that is a good touch. And then the only time you see him, the first time you see him be bad is when he destroys the plane.
He's like, and then even then he's like, well, I was doing that for you.
Yeah, he's like misguided.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
But he is shitty.
I'm not familiar with that actor, but like he has the best like sad eyes.
Yeah,
like dead soul sad eyes. Like, oh my god, who am I?
Right.
Like I did a wave like I was Homelander at the race that nobody saw. Yeah, I really like the show. Like I really, really want to finish it because there's only 4 more episodes.
Yeah.
And
I do too.
It makes me want to read the comic again, but I'm like, I just have the show, which is like a better version of that. It's like the most like refined, like best version of what what the comic's trying to be. And I don't need to read 90 issues of a comic.
Sure.
So I'm excited that season 2's coming.
Yeah,
I'm very much interested in where the show can go.
I'm really glad it's renewed. I'm really glad. It being Eric Kripke, I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at another 5-season plan.
Hell yeah.
That he's going to attempt to cover all the story of the comics in 5 years. That makes sense.
And then he'll leave and they'll keep it going for another 10.
No, I don't think so. I think that this will not be a supernatural
Louise.
case.
Somebody save
remember
me.
what he was supposed to do? Remember when Eric Kripke was attached to Sci-Fi to do a Dead Man TV series?
I don't, but that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it sounded really cool.
I want a Dead Man TV show.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I really liked these 3 episodes of the show. I thought they were really, really solid. The casting is all excellent.
I love the cast.
All of the design for everything. I think Elizabeth Shue, as you said, we're seeing a whole lot of her seediness behind the scenes.
Yeah, like
she
the
just
conniving.
absolutely wants all the power for all of her supers.
Oh man,
it's so
there's a shapeshifter
who turns into a man.
blackmails like a senator.
Doppelganger.
What a good scene. What a
doppelganger.
What a crazy gross scene.
Yeah,
I love it.
Did not need that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's the kind of thing, like, that's like a Mystique thing, but, like, we never saw that kind of thing in X-Men.
I really hope that we just see A-Train just, like, really get it. Because he's just shitty in every aspect. Just, like, doing the race, and it's like, going home to your lady, and he's like, well, you know me, you can't catch the A-Train as she's watching it. It's like, dude, you're the worst.
Yeah.
You like she had your relationship approved with the company, and you still didn't bring her, and you knew that.
One of the things I really like is that you feel bad for some of these supers. Like, I felt bad for Popclaw. I was like, oh no.
Yeah,
for sure.
Even in the comic, Billy's like, a lot of them are bad. Not all of them, but most of them.
Yeah. At the end, like, MM asks him.
Oh, Mother's Milk.
Yeah, Mother's Milk. He asks him. He's like, what if? Do you think a few of them? And it's kind of like trying to make you think of Starlight. It's like, do you think even a few of them might be like the real deal, like good people? And he's like, well, if they are, F them.
Yeah.
I
love that mentality.
Billy doesn't care at all.
Yeah. I'm very excited for the future of the show, and I'm glad people are connecting with it, which is it's a weird show. Like, considering like the MCU and like where we're at, like people really like the show about like evil superheroes. I'm really glad.
Yeah. I think it's a good time for a satire like that.
Yes.
Agreed. This is very much like a new wave of Deadpool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else in the comics specifically that I wanted to touch on. I do like what they do with the Teen Kicks, seeing all that team. I hope that we see some of that translated to the show.
And the first scene of violence where the two teams fight each other, I want there to be something like that where Huey kills someone for the first time. because like he's a member of the
He
boys.
kills-
See, so that's
He killed Translucent.
yeah, he killed Translucent.
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
But not. Yeah, you're right.
I think that's going to be the
That's the
comparison because I was going to say
that's the
I don't
yeah.
think the show is going to do them being superpowered.
Yeah,
I don't think so either.
I think they're going to try and stay away from it. I think they want to keep it like this kind of underdog thing,
that's a good point.
which
Yeah.
is a big difference, but I think probably a good one.
It is. And yeah, using Compound V is kind of just like a mutant a steroid is like a cool idea.
Yeah.
I really like the idea that they're just people
Yeah.
in this, and that because the idea is like, can people take down them?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right.
And I like that idea that we're exploring
That use
that.
their brains.
Yeah,
That
Yeah.
actually makes it more of a challenge. Yeah.
yeah. I'm really excited to see where that could go.
We were.
Yeah.
I know you were really happy when he did like blow up Translucent. You're like, please do it. Please don't let him walk out.
Yeah.
Just bam,
Like,
and then he goes everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the like not subtle at all poster on the wall that it's like keep your hands clean
Oh yeah.
with the baby with the spaghetti bowl.
I love the effect of them like scooping him up, and you see like the
Oh yeah,
You see
the
the
bleeding
limbs?
arm, but it's
Yeah.
it's
It's
still
still
slightly
invisible.
translucent.
I thought that was so
Translucent
cool.
doesn't mean invisible. It means
reflective or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. There's a point I was going to make, but I don't remember.
I think
what it
Black
was.
Noir looks cool.
I think Black.
I love that he
you
doesn't
mean
talk.
yeah, you mean the guy who basically walked out of the G.I. Joe film. Yeah.
Yeah.
Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes, yeah. Ray Park.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember. I really like what they're doing with Starlight. I like the inclusion of her mom
She's really good.
and the
in
idea
this.
that's she's
Me
like-
too.
She wanted to talk to her mom about what happened, this horrible thing that happened to her, but her mom was like, "We're so proud of you for joining the Seven." Is like,
The way they handle
It's
the
sad.
whole girl she saved from the rape,
yes.
and that they're like 100% against it until the girl comes forward and they're like, "This is the best press ever."
yeah.
Yeah, that it's so shallow.
all that like gross
so
marketing.
shallow with
yeah.
the company and everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I like all the stuff.
I
with Starlight.
really, again, it's like the first time we've seen that aspect of like superheroes being celebrities and they have to look about their image, and like that's super fascinating.
I really like the scene between Huey and Starlight in the
park?
at
Me
the
too.
race.
at the race.
Yeah, I really like that
I
scene.
like both their scenes, the one at the park and the one at the race.
They play really well.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Like again, really good casting. I really like that scene.
Not knowing where the comic goes, I hope that she becomes a member of the boys. That she becomes like I kind of want.
Sure.
Let's see how they differentiate from the comic.
Sure.
So far, it's like the story points are kind of like the same. Like we're Starlight
Now,
and her and stuff.
I don't know how familiar you are with this aspect, but like I get the impression with Queen Maeve that she's also kind of like Starlight a few years down the road. That she's just kind of accepted it, but she's not really with all this. Not in the same way that the others are.
Yes, but
Now I'm saying specifically in the show. That's the impression I'm
Yes.
getting. I don't know if that's different from the comic or
I
the
wouldn't be
same, but I think
surprised.
that's where they're going in the show. Is that she's Starlight like a decade down the road.
Yes. Like she's like the defeated Starlight.
Yes.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they do some changing.
Because she wanted to take the guy in custody. Highlander killed him. And she went... Homelander. Jesus.
They're gonna only be one.
Yeah, Homelander killed him, and she just goes along with it, but it's not something she's super happy about.
Yeah. I do like that. That's
There's almost like this tortured love story on her end.
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's super because they didn't really go into it that much in this volume.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious how that develops.
Yeah.
A lot of cool things. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to ask you like where things go in the comics, but I kind of just feel like I should wait.
I
and
also
see what
read
happens
it
in the show.
13 years ago, so my memory is pretty bad,
Yeah.
except for like the big stuff, like characters dying, all that kind of
But
stuff.
specifically to that point, is that something that was present with Queen Maeve? Is that she's not as with this as the others?
Yes, but she still is a bad person.
Sure. I
But
mean,
she is
that's-
absolutely like, I guess I gotta do this. But she
Okay.
is not evil. Like
Because
they
I
are.
think the show's definitely going to lean in that direction from what we've seen so far. Is
Yes.
that she's like, yeah, she's
she's
still
a
not.
little bit of conscience
She's
left.
still not great because she goes along with it and lets him shoot at her and all that to create the lie.
Yeah.
But it does seem like they're
She's not
trying,
fully dead inside yet.
Yeah, they're trying to lean into a sense of consciousness.
She might see something in Starlight
her.
that awakens her or something.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't want to see with Starlight is depending on how they do it. At this point, I don't want to see her descent into becoming one of the seven.
Don't worry about that.
That's
I don't
what-
think that's who the character is designed to be.
Yeah.
Just the perspective we have on it now. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the scene where they do change her costume and the girl comes up and she's like, "I ordered your costume," and it's like, "I still haven't gotten the new one," and it's like, you know what? Don't get the new one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The
I
old
felt-
one's
I felt
perfectly
really
fine.
bad when the girl was taking a picture and it's just, Starlight, show us your tits.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
just like, oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, man. Matt, he's like an internet troll, basically.
All right, shall we get out of here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
highly recommend the
the
show.
show.
Yeah.
We'll probably talk about it again when we finish the 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Because that will be impending, and the comic was enjoyable.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a good base for
check out
for the
both
show.
of these. They're very separate takes yet the same.
Yeah. Billy Butcher.
All right, so we didn't have a book club. This was basically our book club this week. So Sparks, next week is your book club. Do you know what you're doing?
Yes, we're doing Man Eaters by Chelsea Kane, Volume 1.
Yeah,
Very
baby.
cool. Very cool. So read that one. Come back to us next week. We will also have Jen, our old
next
friend,
week.
the Key Thief,
Yeah.
be on the show talking about the current crop of animated retellings coming from Disney.
I wonder if she has man-eaters.
I'll ask her.
Okay.
And also we have a special coming out for Hobbs and Shaw. Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. That'll be up soon. I'll probably put it up on Patreon first.
Ooh,
Or I might just put it up this week. Who knows?
Not exclusive.
I'll let you guys know on
It'll go up soon.
All right, so we have a YouTube page. What's up on the YouTube page, Sparks?
Everything.
Around not long after this episode drops, I'm sure we'll have our very last episode of Fake Nerds Watch with Swamp Thing. The finale is out, and we are watching
Loose ends.
and it's coming out. So
Do you know what you guys are doing next for Fake Nerd Watch?
Nope, not a clue.
All right, then.
We haven't talked about we have talked about, like, we still want to do with you some Stranger Things discussion in the near future, and Ryan and I still have a Midsommar review we want to put out. I know down the road we're absolutely 100%
Mandalorian.
doing I was going to say Watchmen.
Oh, yes. Actually, screw Mandalorian. Yeah, Watchmen.
We're absolutely doing Watchmen on Fake Nerds
TikTok.
Watch. I don't know necessarily what else will come up in that time or what we're doing
Mandalorian
next
is
yet.
November.
I imagine for the immediate future we're going to take a little bit of a break on Fake Nerds Watch while we decide exactly what we're doing next.
Again, there'll probably be specials here and there, but like for now, yeah.
All right, then. And Basement Arcade coming out.
Depending
yeah.
how things go, we might also do a special just talking about the rest of the boys.
Yeah.
Might invite you for that as well.
I've seen a lot of scuttlebutt about the ending and how people are really excited about like the next season because it's a good cliffhanger apparently.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll talk about it.
Basement Arcade's almost done.
Yeah, man. Episode 15's out. Episode 16's coming out this
To correct you, Basement Arcade is not almost done. Shadow of the Colossus on Basement Arcade is almost done.
Correct.
But the next game is impending.
It is happening
Do you
soon.
want to say what it is or
Not yet.
not yet?
I think we've already announced it.
I think so. We do know what it is.
It's
go
Sonic
ahead.
Mania.
It's Sonic Mania.
Yeah.
Ryan is playing through Sonic Mania with Ben.
Hell yeah, baby.
We're
We're gonna do stuff with you soon, Sparks. I promise.
Yeah.
We just got to do schedules. We got to figure it out.
We've talked about some things.
all right, so Funko, we are a Funko affiliate, as
Hell
you guys know.
yes.
You click the link in the description for
As seen in The Boys.
Click the link in the description and use promo code SHOP10 for 10% off your purchase. As mentioned before, we have a Patreon. Currently, our Patreon is still kind of being worked on, but if you want to donate, there is only one tier, and if you donate to that tier, you get all everything that's going to go up.
Ooh yeah.
For example, right now, the first 10 episodes of our show are up on the Patreon, and I'm going to keep going until we get to the first 50.
Remember 2016?
My God, seriously, guys.
Wow.
I listened to a couple of that. Our intro was really long back then.
Do you remember like really bad sounding microphones?
Yeah.
Episode 1, baby.
So if you guys wanna check that out, see where we came from, see some thoughts on other
History.
things, definitely check those out on our Patreon. We also have a TeePublic. On our TeePublic, we have our Basement Arcade shirts. We
Whoop, whoop.
have our Fake Nerd podcast shirts. We have our
Whoop, whoop.
miscellaneous shirts. We have Suburban Proctologist shirts.
Heck yeah.
And I know from 2 artists that we will be having 2 new shirts going up
Heck yeah.
soon.
We're
So
in the end game, baby.
impending. Next week we will actually debut one. and
Jen.
we all know what it is, but I'm not going to tell the audience in case they forgot.
We're not.
I
It's
forgot.
a sequel to Event Game.
This is the Event Game
Can't get us
sequel.
this time, Disney.
Avinity War.
Oh God.
How did they know? No.
Yo, man, it's Disney. They
Yeah.
got money.
So yes, all the links for that are in the show notes. You can check those out.
Super duper.
Thank you to everyone who listens. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you to Jeremy Vellucci, who does our theme music and our segment intros. And you can find him at Jeremy Vellucci Keyboards. He also has a show, Suburban Proctologist, and announcement that just dropped an hour ago.
I saw it.
Suburban Proctologist is up again
Woo!
online.
Hell yeah.
So you can check out those episodes.
Because I had a Procto.
Subscribe to that show. Support that show. Buy the merch. Do the things. Found out that he did not buy the merch. So whoever bought that Suburban Proctologist merch, please let us know.
Thanks.
It was pie.
Probably was pie.
I don't know this, but I do. But I don't know it. I just know it's true.
You can find them on. You can find that show, Suburban Proctologist Official on Facebook and Subproc Podcast on Instagram. Thank you to Mike Matola,
Heck yeah, Mike.
who may or may not be designing some new things for us.
Oh my god.
That means he is.
Shush.
Sorry.
Shush you.
You
You can find him at Mike Matola on Instagram and Twitter. Check out the 2 episodes that he was on last week. A lot of fun.
Double header.
Yeah, we have our episode with him, our Impossible Trivia Challenge 3,
Yep.
up on YouTube, and I will get that X-Men special up soon.
Yeah.
Da-na-na-na-na.
You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all at FakeNerd Podcast, FakeNerdGuys@gmail.com. I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. Ryan?
I'm at DJ Tony Snark at everything. Ben Magnet is at Ben_Magnet.
Ben Magnet 27.
Ben Magnet 27.
Sparks?
I'm Sparks Witty. I'm at Sparks Witty on Instagram. SPARKZ Witty.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Rate, review, wherever you get us. We greatly appreciate it. Until next week, guys, stay fake nerds.
Jelly brass knuckles.
No, they're for her toes.